Hello, welcome everyone to the Fantasy Commissioner. Today I'm joined by Ian Rice.
Hello.
2018 runner-up, Mark Thompson.
Hello, everybody.
And 2021 league champion, Tony Mize.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about the 2023 NFL free agency preview. The free agency the free agency signing begins on Thursday, if I'm correct. Is that the 17th?
Yeah.
The 17th, yep. So that's when they can start. We've already had some activity as far as, for example, Derek Carr. He was signed because he was released. He wasn't an actual free agent via a contract. So we're also going to start talking some trades, though, that have taken place to kind of set us up into the free agency. So I wasn't originally going to start with this one, but we're going to start with the big trade that took place yesterday between Chicago and Carolina, to get your guys' thoughts on that. So Carolina acquired the first overall pick in the draft this year, and they gave Chicago their first overall pick, which was 9, and also next year's first round pick and wide receiver DJ Moore. So personally, I do have some mixed feelings on this. We were talking about it a little bit earlier, and I think Chicago could have waited and gotten more as it got closer. But I also understand the urgency to do it now. This way both teams can also handle their business in the free agency market. And Chicago has plenty of room to do that.
That they do.
What are your guys' thoughts on the trade? I mean, we'll start with him because he has Justin Fields on. We also mixed in fantasy with this too. So he actually on our fantasy league has Justin Fields.
So you get a later first round draft pick, in which case you weren't going to take a wide receiver with the number 1 pick anyways.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You get DJ Moore, who is a number 1 wide receiver pick in this case. Like if he was in the draft or like in a draft, he would be a number 1 pick in this case based upon what he does. And you have $96 million in cap space to spend still.
That's like something like that. I mean, these no. I gave you these numbers. These were as of the 8th.
But again, they have a boatload of money to throw still. Mm-hmm. And they're in a position to where they already have their quarterback. Like, from Chicago's perspective, if they waited, I think the deal would have gotten worse. And I think Tony will probably speak more on that because he was on that same boat.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Like you said, DJ Moore is a first-round caliber receiver.
Yeah.
So instead of spending your first-round draft pick on a receiver, Bears' defense is trash.
Yeah.
So get your defensive tackle, get your edge rusher. If those guys aren't available, the top 2, I don't even remember their names right.
No.
Offensive tackle, let's protect Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's let him get the ball to Mooney and DJ Moore, Khalil Herbert coming out of the backfield, because that guy can catch the ball out of the backfield too. So I think this move is amazing for the Bears, and Carolina paid too much.
I agree with you.
I don't know about paid too much.
Oh.
I mean, if they...
For an unproven quarterback.
Yeah.
We've all seen quarterbacks come out highly touted, failed. Ryan Leaf, Chargers, years ago.
How do you know about him? Look, Gary, I love Ted Lasso. I believe and believe. No.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I look at Chicago. They gave up an opportunity. I think they would have taken Will Anderson, the linebacker, edge rusher, if you want to call him that, from Alabama.
Okay.
And I see that guy as being... I don't want to compare him, but I guess I am Khalil Mack.
Sure.
And I think he was a difference maker that receivers, now obviously you're right, there's no one in this list of receivers we have available this year. There's no one probably on a DJ Moore's level.
No, I mean, you got to figure 1,100 the year before, 8,800 or 880 some yards this year.
And he was hurt.
But a Will Anderson, which I also didn't agree with him last year trading away Roquan Smith.
That's fair.
I think they should have kept him.
That's fair.
Because that was you had a nucleus to your defense right there.
Yeah.
But now Will Anderson could have been that new who would have transformed your defense. They still have to go defense with his 9th pick. I just think it's not going to be what they originally would have taken.
So after they
I say it's Joey Porter. The corner.
Don't you say that.
You think so?
I don't think they go corner that
Don't
high.
know if they go
you
corner.
say
I
that.
honestly
You think Pittsburgh's getting him?
if the
You
if
think he's gonna drop that far?
No.
if the
I
defensive
don't. I think
linemen
Pittsburgh makes moves for him.
Okay.
if the defensive linemen are gone
So you respect my mindset
Oh, I
on
do.
that.
I do.
at
Don't
9,
you say that. It's heresy.
I really think they take Paris Johnson from Ohio State at 9 to give Justin Fields some support.
I don't know. If
Why would
that,
you take an Ohio State player at 9?
The dude is huge.
Okay, that's fair. He's
And
actually
he's-
I just had to make a cheap dig.
I mean, the Bears though. In the Bears. Well, here, you haven't
Yeah, what are
chimed
your
in
thoughts?
yet.
No, I'm new to the forum, so I'm listening to you guys chatter out. I don't know that they actually paid too much. You know?
Really?
I don't know if they actually paid too much. I'm torn with it. I understand that you got to give up a little bit to start rebuilding.
Right.
And
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
the reality, right? So we've seen the Patriots, for example, the masters of the trade. All you gave up too much, you gave it to make it, and they have a dynasty that went through.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So can we really say they gave up too much, or are they following a new pattern? Are they starting a new trend where you build with the Bill Belichick mindset? I want actual football-minded players, guys who enjoy playing the game. So where we think they might have paid too much, where they're going to fall too low in the draft, maybe that strategically is what they want. Maybe there's somebody in the draft in that position. They say, hey, this kid wants to play football. He's not the flashiest player, he's not the fastest, but he's got the biggest heart, and he wants to go out there and pound the ball. All right? Belichick did that for years. Brady had who? Top of your heads.
Oh,
Who's the superstar?
insert random player
Right?
other than a Wes Welker or a
Randy
Amendola
Moss.
or
Randy
Randy
Moss.
Moss.
Randy
Right?
Moss.
Gotcha.
Running backs.
Yep.
Who else did Brady hand the ball off to? Numerous guys, right?
Yeah, it's-
But yet,
The best one they ever had was
Cares.
Corey Dillon.
and how many rings did they have? Right. So I don't necessarily agree
See,
that they gave up. too much.
Belichick built it in the trenches. That's
Right.
why I said that's where the Bears are going to go. And honestly, we don't know if they overpaid because it hasn't happened yet.
Correct.
Give it 5 years.
Sure.
Hold on.
Right.
Belichick built it in the trenches, and he struck gold by drafting Mr. Irrelevant.
Right.
Like
Brock Purdy.
you
Hold on. Okay. Hey,
but I mean,
hold on. Just so everyone knows,
My man.
he is a Niners fan,
My man.
Steelers fan,
yeah, true story.
Chargers fan, and although it's a Lawrence Taylor, it's Miami Dolphins right here. If you can't tell.
My one concern with this, I never saw Bill Belichick trade for the number 1 overall pick.
No.
Right.
So again, you're right. They went for. There were times where Belichick was looked at as taking a bad trade, but it led to him getting the person he wants.
Right. Exactly.
2 things to this. Do you really believe that Carolina has a Bill Belichick head coach?
I don't.
Okay.
But Belichick has built a blueprint
Sure.
for other coaches to follow.
Sure.
So we'll take the 49ers.
Yep.
Right? How is it possible they have the caliber of players they have on that team year after year after year after year? Right? I've yet to see them in the draft position that they haven't grabbed some high caliber player that's really produced in the season they've been drafted in. We'll take even Mr. Irrelevant. Right? So when you look at how they
JJ Stokes.
Oh, you had to go there.
Okay.
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 Oh.
Okay.
All right. You gotta give it to you. I gotta give it to you. That was a good one.
Way to go to the well on that one.
That was a good one. Took me to the woodshed in that one.
I just, again, I'm concerned about, like, if I was a Panthers fan, I'd be concerned about putting all your eggs in this basket. Again, I look at first round quarterbacks, and yes, there have been some amazing ones. But do you truly believe that whoever they draft is going to be it? Now, Tony and I were talking, and all of us were talking earlier, but Tony brought up the fact of he thinks they may be going after a specific somebody, and I don't want to steal his thunder. I'm trying to segue over to Tony on this one. Tony, where do you think they're going with this?
I think they're going to go combine and go with the kid from Florida, Anthony Richardson.
Right, and so Underwear Olympics is going to win out in this one.
Yes.
I don't see it.
If that is the case,
I think
then
they're
that
gonna,
logic is flawed.
I think
Because-
they're going to look at Bryce Young
But
as being undersized, CJ Stroud not being quite there because he doesn't have that
you
rushing.
went to Ohio State?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because he
I think
doesn't have
proved
that rushing.
I think he proved that in the playoff game. He can run if he has to.
Wait, did they win that one?
I don't think they won that one. Did they win that one?
Did they win that one?
I don't think they won that
Did
one.
they win that one?
If he has to.
If he has to. Did he run himself in?
So this
the
isn't a
championship
draft preview, just so you
game? I don't
guys
see.
know.
Wait, hold on. This is my notes.
This isn't the draft preview.
Oh, no, that's not.
No. Weird.
We must be missing.
You were saying?
My bad.
So when I was talking earlier, no, I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
Yeah,
So-
finish.
The big hype around Justin Fields is that 4.40. But he has proved he can go out when he has receivers. Oh, he's got one now.
Yeah.
He can throw the ball down the field. CJ Stroud might be able to throw the ball down the field. Might. We don't know in the NFL yet. But he can't run like Richardson. Richardson threw the ball just as well as Stroud did and can run faster. So, you take those measurables, the NFL is going towards running quarterbacks. Look at all the controversy. We were talking about Lamar Jackson earlier.
True.
So Lamar Jackson's on the team. That hurts the receivers because he's going to drop back, look at his first and second receiver, or right now, Mark Andrews. And
Save the Lamar talk because I got some big points on Lamar when we get to that, and they'll involve this trade.
Okay.
But here's my point. Here's what I want to say is, if I was Chicago, I wouldn't have moved down to 9. I would have. I mean, I hope they did this. I hope they said to Indianapolis at 4, "Can you match this offer?" Because now you're moving down to 4. You're still getting. I mean, I don't. The problem.
Who are you getting from Indianapolis for the DJ Moore spot?
Yeah, last I checked, isn't that a high school football team?
Pretty much. I mean,
At this point,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
let's be honest.
really.
But but then you're guaranteed one of the 2 top defensive linemen.
But with Indianapolis, you're not getting. You get Michael Pittman, who hasn't proved anything.
Here's the other thing. Who's to say that Chicago's done trading?
No, it's true.
But I get back to Carolina. Who do you think they're taking? Like, if you think if you don't think they overspent, who do you think? Who do you think they're? You just think they got enough.
So many things to happen between now and
that's
the
fair.
draft.
That's fair.
The particular player, I think they have a blueprint that they're trying to follow.
Yeah.
I do see it as a Bill Belichick style blueprint for drafting. That they're going to try and find some players that have true football intentions. They want to go out there and play football and prove. You look at the Brady's of the world, the Purdy's of the world, the guys with the chips on their shoulder because they got passed up by so many other teams. I think there's guys like that they may look at and say, this is going to be our next guy.
Monte Mack.
Wow.
This is our next guy.
Wow.
Come
You
on.
think they're going to get all their picks back? You think they're going to trade
Please
back?
tell me you've seen the draft movie.
Draft day?
Yeah.
Draft- okay.
Yes.
They're going to get all their picks back?
That ain't going to happen. It'd be nice, but that's not going to happen.
Really?
But
I knew there had to at least be one drop of that today.
You know he was an Ohio State linebacker.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he was.
He was. He
Green?
was.
We
He
realized-
crushed Bo Callahan.
I'll tell you this. Only in Hollywood would anyone have a positive outlook of the Cleveland Browns.
This is very true. Let alone when they have drafted 3 high caliber.
And I know,
Oh
just so
my
you got,
God.
just anyone new to this, we do sometimes throw in a little cultural stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, what's funny about that movie is they took the Seattle Seahawks, like as the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
That was coming off, they just won the championship,
Yep.
if I recall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thought that was kind of weird. Like,
Yeah.
I remember watching it, I'm like, why are they in the number 1 slot?
Yeah.
Forgot it's Hollywood. But I think we'll come back to this trade. Like I said, there's a few things in the quarterback position I want to relate to this trade, which I think Carolina could have done instead.
Well, hold on.
It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad trade. I'm
No.
really not. I just think Chicago could have done better, is what I'm saying.
I look at it from Chicago's standpoint is they moved back in the draft, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up a wide receiver that they desperately needed because they need things for Fields.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, they picked up a ton of future picks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not even talking about the 2025 picks that they picked up. First rounder and a second rounder for 2025?
2024 they got
Or 2024, sorry.
2024 they got a first rounder.
rounder.
2025 they got a second rounder.
I mean, that's
And then they got
that's
the
money in the bank.
I'll throw this out there too.
61st pick.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. I mean, that's money
You
in
know
the
who the
bank.
biggest winner in this probably is going to be is Arizona, because now they are guaranteed whichever defensive player they want.
What if they trade back? I heard
Yeah,
rumors that
yeah.
they're looking to trade back.
Well, if that happens to happen, I'm just saying is that
So-
right now
so-
quarterbacks are going 1-2.
And
So
Kyler
if-
Murray, like, I
if-
thought there's a lot of turmoil there.
They-
There's not to say that they're not going to take a quarterback.
Yeah, that whole team is not set.
I wouldn't.
gave him that huge contract. They're not moving on from Kyler yet.
So, you got the Colts sitting at 4. They know that the first 2 picks are quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
If the Colts want to move up,
what do they have? What do they have to offer, though?
Right, Jonathan Taylor. That's all they have to offer.
The Colts have nothing to offer.
That's why I said to Carolina, they had something to offer.
Yeah.
The Colts don't have that unless they want to get rid of Jonathan Taylor. Which, why would you trade that?
To move from 3 to 4, you don't have to give up as much as you're thinking.
Yeah, but again, the Colts don't have.
Jonathan Taylor is amazing.
What was the trade that Chicago did to move one spot 8 years ago, in order to pick up what's his name?
Trubisky?
Yeah, Trubisky. It was like.
Yeah, they paid quite a bit to do that.
True, I forgot about that.
I wouldn't sell it short.
That paid out.
But
no, I wouldn't either. But I mean, that's
going back to Jonathan Taylor
it's more
being the
expensive than you
Colts'
think.
only option. He's a running back.
Yeah.
Going into his 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants him anymore.
Yeah,
He's a Colt.
It's a decline year.
Yeah,
and it's a Colt. Yeah.
He's a Colt until his contract's up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he'll probably get re-signed with the Colts.
Yeah, so the Colts are in a bad position right now. The Colts don't have any real capital to give any team that says, "Hey, we want that spot." Okay, here's our needs, or to move up to anywhere else other than staying at 4.
Yep.
They have no capital to give.
I can tell you this: if the Colts were offered anything even remotely close to a trade like the Carolina got, they would take it in a heartbeat.
Oh, they jump all over it. Absolutely, I agree.
More draft capital, an actual player.
I mean, now that they're not going to move up to 1 or 2, because they originally were talked about moving up to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now that they're not going to get 1 or 2, I mean, moving back wouldn't be horrible. Because there's a bunch of teams in that mix that aren't going to take a quarterback, where they can move back and still, if they want to get Richardson, or was it Levy's? But again, we're not supposed to be talking about the draft just yet.
Yeah.
I do want to move on to another topic that's been pretty hot and heavy, is Aaron Rodgers' possible trade.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, who cares? He's old.
Brett Favre?
The new
2.0?
Hobbit.
Yep.
The new Hobbit.
It's
Wow, I wasn't expecting that response out of that.
it's a new thing for Green Bay quarterbacks. Yeah. They get old, they want to go to the Jets.
Yeah. It's drama.
Look, Aaron Rodgers is a joke. Let's just put it on.
He'll play for the Jets.
I don't disagree with that.
A joke?
A joke.
Oh.
Aaron Rodgers.
Attitude-wise.
Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think he's talking about the
right
player.
now, in the NFL, he's, in my personal opinion, one of the most selfish players out there. And for all players to call him out, Rob Gronkowski. Aaron Rodgers goes out there and says, "I think I could be an MVP again." Gronkowski says, "Hey, dude, MVP? Don't you care about Super Bowls? Like, what are you talking about?" Aaron Rodgers has the talent to go out there and be the best quarterback year over year, right? But he's so selfish and self-centered that he doesn't care about his team. He can talk all he wants about, I want this player, I want that player, and help me build. The reality is he doesn't care. And his attitude this past season showed that he didn't care about himself. The trade rumors is all about him. He didn't care about his team. Aaron Rodgers is a joke. I hope they cut him and no team picks him up. It won't happen, but I hope he sits in the
To add on to your point, he ended up complaining and moaning and ended up getting one of his best friends and wide receivers to come to Green Bay, and it didn't help him.
Well,
so even when it's not a trade about him, it's about him.
But he got paid, if I recall, as well.
I was going to bring that up too. He complains we need a receiver in the first round. Threw a big fit about them not drafting a receiver, and then you go out and tell Green Bay, "I need Randall Cobb now."
Yes.
What is Randall Cobb?
He's my missing piece.
I remember when they drafted Jordan Love, and I thought to myself, first of all, I did question it, but I thought to myself, you know what? This kid's going to be a good place because he knew what it was like when he came in, and I thought he would take Jordan Love under his... I really did.
Really?
I really did.
I knew that wasn't there.
No, in my mind, I thought, okay, he knew what he went through as a rookie and all that with Favre. I thought he would do the opposite. But what I do want to say, of course,
that's cute.
But I do want to say this. I will say this about Aaron Rodgers is I like to compare him to LeBron James, and what I mean by that is LeBron James may be the most.
Wait a minute.
LeBron James may be the most gifted basketball player of all time.
Hold on. That's a big stretch for him. That's a big stretch for him.
What I'm saying is he may be the most gifted basketball player of all time. But I think his off the field and his mentality brings him down.
he can't get out of his own way
Whereas
to.
Aaron Rodgers may be the most gifted quarterback of all time. But the same.
I'm not going there.
Nope. I'm sorry.
First of all,
you had me
this,
at hello. You
this-
lost me at that.
this conversation just went from crazy to ridiculous.
Like, what are you talking about, man?
Like,
What's in that juice?
look, I will defend, and again, I will defend LeBron and to the point where people will think I'm crazy that he is better than Michael Jordan. We've had this conversation, you and I. I know you may think I'm nuts for this. I think.
Where are we?
I think if LeBron plays in the '80s, he destroys people.
Are you kidding me?
There's no one his
What are you
size.
talking
There's
about?
no one his measurements. We'll talk about this later off camera. But still, I truly believe if you. And again, it kind of goes back to our conversation too in the past about NFL players today versus NFL players back in the '70s. I love the Steelers. Steel curtain defense was amazing in the '70s. They wouldn't hold a candle currently. They just wouldn't be able to do it.
Oh,
Bigger, faster, stronger, better reaction time, everything.
But if you flip flop, like we've also said, if you flip flop them, then those Steelers in the '70s are the same size as these Steelers now, and if you flip flop them the other way, that's the same thing.
All right, okay.
But the Steelers in the '70s couldn't run a 4.40.
This is a debate.
And I'm talking
that-
about their big
But
linemen.
you gotta think of the off the field supplements that are legal for them to take that help. The training programs that are available now that weren't available, the equipment alone.
Yeah. Again, we've gone over this.
Right.
But
So
again,
we say
We've never done it on this though.
Now that
That's
we're
true.
going
We have to
this,
have that
this
battle.
route, this is going to be a 4-hour
This is
stream.
great. Derailed. 5 minutes
We
in.
can say the same thing about golf with Tiger Woods. You know, he's so good because he had better equipment than Palmer and the other guys that came before him, right? Talent.
Heck no.
Hang on. I'm going to your point. I'm using your
Okay,
point. So
okay.
the Steelers of the '70s,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, sure.
can't compete in this day and age. Is it because they don't have the football acumen or the toughness to compete with today's football players? Forget about speed and strength. There's physical toughness.
Oh,
Or
no.
have the rules changed so much that those guys can't operate in this NFL today in today's age, right? So you take today's players,
Yep.
you put them then, they get hit smacked one time in the mouth, and it's wait, hang on.
No, I agree.
And that was my big argument to him was
So
LeBron.
the equipment's gotten better.
Yep.
In this day and age versus what they had then, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Protocols have gotten better now
Sure.
than then. So a guy gets in concussion then. We talked about this earlier. Little smell and salt. He gets up. Next play, he's back in there.
Sure.
Right. Now the guy is woozy. He's not really seeing the play as quickly. His
Yep.
reaction time is slower because he's got a pretty massive concussion. Today's football, guy gets a massive concussion. He's done.
Sure.
Next man up. That guy's like, I'm ready to go, coach. Here, put me in. He's ready to go. I don't know that we can keep going back and comparing the two.
I agree with you.
We'd
I
love to
agree
do-
with you.
They're great arguments. They're great
Yep.
talking points. But I don't know if we can actually do that.
Right.
To your point about LeBron, look.
LeBron doesn't
Hold on,
survive
hold
the
on.
bad
Can I
boys. Is that
throw-
fair?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can I say something else? Hand checking was put out of the league because of the Pistons, right?
Yes.
I'm telling you, LeBron doesn't survive those Pistons
LeBron.
or the Knicks.
LeBron destroys those Pistons because he can literally break them in half. He's all muscle. They played against truck drivers.
I think
I've seen the guy flop on air.
Dude, the 80s in the NBA was built upon expansion, which means that they brought in doughy people that couldn't be able to handle it. If you take LeBron, who is ridiculously strong and athletic, and you throw him into that, I think he absolutely destroys teams.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I hear you, and I don't necessarily disagree. I just think I look at the caliber of player.
Yeah.
Before the LeBron era, you got Kobe Bryant's of
Sure.
the world. You've got
Yeah.
Penny Hardaway of the world, right? You've got again the king of king, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Larry Bird.
Yep.
I mean, you've got players who are legendary in the game.
Sure.
And you can rattle them all off, and your kids, they all know them. You talk about players today, LeBron. He's the only name you bring up. The only one you bring up. So does that mean he is that much further ahead of everyone else in today's game? Right? Or do you really and truly believe that his talent was
This is
that
before basketball.
much better
Hold on.
than the ones of it? Right?
All right, we've really drilled.
I don't know
Well,
what
hold
you're
on,
saying.
Because now he
Hold
wants
on.
to get me
Hold
going
on.
with Durant and
Hold on,
Giannis here.
but
So
hold on. To go back to your point. And this is my thing in regards to the Steelers, and I say that the
Yeah.
Steelers could not compete as a team in
Okay.
today's age. And you're right, part of it is rules. But it's also part of it's the supplements that are currently going, the training regimens that we're going throughout junior high and even like grade school now through where they're at now. Like the nutrition systems and the strength training that goes on in high schools even at this point in day and age is creating just crazy athletes.
They're creating monsters.
And to that point, I mean, you want to talk about that. There's kids now, they don't even want them playing in multiple sports.
Right.
When we were in high school, it's like, okay,
you should be a multi-sport.
okay, when can I start playing
still
basketball?
agree,
And when does baseball start?
Right.
No,
and
I
so
get it. Yeah.
so when you look at that type of thing, and you said, is it just LeBron? No, honestly, I really feel if you take basically any NBA player currently and you drop them back, the physical nature of them, granted, they'd get punched in the mouth and it would probably set some of these guys back, but I think some of them would do well and still excel.
I
think LeBron is one.
I think because Jordan changed the game of how the game was played. You look
Yep.
at Larry Bird style of play, the Magic Johnson style of play, and when Jordan came to the league, he was such a phenomenon in the league that no one could compete with what he brought to the league.
Well, they changed rules for him.
And so the younger generation, the LeBron James of the world, they watched Jordan as they grew up.
Yep.
And their game is based on what he did.
Yep.
Right? So to that point, yes, I agree 100%. He could hold his own. So I don't know that he dominates the way that we're
Go ahead. I know you want to speak. Go ahead.
I do.
Yeah.
So going off your point right there, I'm going to turn this back to football. 'Cause
Oh,
I don't
good.
know.
I know, we got to get off
Bring us
basketball.
back. Bring us back.
Sorry.
I look at this whole debate that we're having right now, and I look at it. You got to separate it in era.
Okay.
So
I agree with that. I agree with that.
You look at. I'm staring at a picture of Dan Marino. I'm going to use Dan Marino as a.
So we're talking about the greatest
So-
quarterback of all time.
So you look
record.
at Dan Marino.
Only 'cause
Wow.
That's all we have
So
here.
when
It's a
Dan
Heisman.
Marino got inducted into the Hall of Fame, no question,
Absolutely.
he was a
Yeah,
first ballot
sure,
Hall of Famer.
sure. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
So, Phillip Rivers, different generation. Okay,
Better numbers.
better numbers. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yes, because it's quarterback league. It's
I
stupid.
agree with that
It's stupid,
But-
but he's going to
but
get first
I
ballot.
agree, but I don't think he'll make it first ballot.
because of Drew Brees. They
Yes.
retired in the same year.
Yes.
But if Drew Brees didn't retire in the same year,
I-
would
They're gonna
Phillip
bring two
Rivers,
quarterbacks.
Well, so that the dichotomy.
which
the Drew
former,
Brees, Phillip Rivers
both
story
former
anyway
Chargers quarterbacks,
is-
But that's why they're both going in.
They
I
can
mean,
go
come
together.
on, that's
They'll go
storyline.
I think they'll
I mean,
both
this
go
is
in,
this is
yeah.
straight out of Hollywood, right? Like Drew Brees leaves, wins the
Not to
championship.
table this, but there is
Yeah,
going to be a
it's
future Hall of
totally
Fame
gonna happen.
meeting coming up.
Yeah,
We know
I
a
like
future Hall of
totally
Fame
have
I
soon.
like that. And,
They're
I like-
both going.
But
that's my
The
point.
one that's got
you know?
away is going to be Eli.
Well, yeah, that guy's not going in.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah,
I know he
But
is,
he's gonna have
I
to
don't
wait.
wanna say
he
it.
is.
But going back,
No,
it's,
he'll get first
you
ballot.
gotta
I think
break
it's the
it
same
down
year.
in
Aren't they
era.
all going to be the same
So
year? Or is he 1 year
Michael
sooner?
LeBron,
I think he's
greatest
sooner.
of their era,
Yes.
not
True.
of
I like
not
that.
of all time.
Yeah.
There can't be an all time because you can't.
I agree with
You
this. I
can't,
do agree with
yes.
this. We love to.
I
But
agree with this. I hate
Brady,
saying it, I agree with
amazing.
it, yes.
What he did in his career
was
is
amazing.
outstanding.
Yep.
But you can't compare the time he played in the NFL because the rules changed so much to when Dan Fouts, Dan Marino,
Sure.
those guys played.
Well, it's
there was harder hitting, less. The technology and the equipment wasn't there.
The ball changed as well.
Yeah.
Well, and so did schemes, right? Like when Terry Bradshaw was in the league, the West Coast offense hadn't been created yet.
Yes, it had.
No, that wasn't until Walsh in like
Cincinnati
the 80s.
was running
Cincinnati
it.
had it.
He was their coordinator.
He was running in Cincinnati.
He was facing this. Kenny Anderson was running it.
Cincinnati didn't want to have it in there because
Cincinnati didn't make the Super
It
Bowl
wasn't
until
called the
the
West
80s, or
Coast.
1980.
No, they.
Well,
It
Cincinnati
was
didn't
their
make it until
offense was the
1980.
West Coast offense though. That's where it started. It was in Cincinnati. It's actually based off a Paul Brown scheme.
Gotcha. Well, even still, you had a situation where it was brand new, right? And you also didn't have the league rules where you could, as a wide receiver, not be jammed all the hell out of it. Like,
They could do anything they wanted to those receivers until the ball was actually in the air.
right, there wasn't a defensive holding call after the first 5 yards. Whereas now that is a place.
That's why it was always funny when
There are so many
Steelers went and said that the Raiders
defensive-
were malicious.
Well, they
against-
were. They were.
Okay, see that guy up in that corner, number 47, L. Blood? You know how many times he checked? how times
I'm
he would
clutching my
ragdoll
pearls.
throw Cliff Branch.
I'm clutching my pearls. How dare you?
So the Tony
How
point,
dare you?
I like the error conversation, the error argument. I agree with that. I mean, it's the same argument now with
Yeah.
Brady and Montana.
Yeah.
Who's the greatest of all time?
Just appreciate greatness.
You
Okay,
really
let's
can't
go around the
say-
table. I want to know. You brought up. You get your choice between Montana or Brady. Who are you taking? I know the answer.
Wait, hold on. What are the in their eras?
So how I look at all-time great players is you should be able to play in any era.
No,
No.
that's not
You
true.
can't.
That's not true.
You can't.
Then Brady's not the greatest quarterback. He would not do well in the 70s
He
or
wouldn't.
the 80s.
Montana would.
And
Montana.
okay,
But I don't know.
I grew
You know
up
what?
watching
I
Michael
see,
Jordan.
So I see your point.
But-
I think Montana thrived in today's
For
NFL
example.
because if Montana didn't take the hits he did and get the injuries he did, Montana wins 7 Super Bowls. I think you can look at Montana's skill set and how he can bring his team back in there. You put him in today's NFL, Montana wins 7 Super Bowls. Same way as Brady does because it's the no-touch quarterback league now. If Montana stays healthy, you tell me that guy can't win 7 Super Bowls. He's said it in interviews numerous times.
He
He
told,
says,
me,
you know,
he told me to tell him. I want to tell him that, but
but you could,
not in sound actually intelligent at this point. I want to tell him. That's the American in me. You tell me I can't do something, I'm going to tell you I can. No, you're probably
take
right on
Marino.
this one.
Marino, same thing. Marino had.
No, Marino still would not have a Super Bowl.
There's no doubt in my mind. Marino
Played small
comes in.
big games.
If Marino
Small.
comes in this
Small.
year, this
It's a team
NFL
game.
era,
It's a team game.
he comes
Yeah,
in this NFL
and he's
era,
the quarterback.
Marino wins Super Bowl. Not just one. I think he wins multiple.
Well,
Super Bowls.
I think that's true because
Yeah.
they write the storyline for Marino, but
Yep.
as for the actual play, no, he's not going to. It's all scripted. It's all scripted.
All right, so let's move on. So Aaron Rodgers trade. I guess there's that.
By the way, you just got 6 new viewers and they're flat earthers too for that.
Apparently that's
This
what
guy's
people
onto something.
So, well, I guess my point is, are the Jets better if they get Aaron Rodgers?
No.
No, who else do they have?
Well, think what they
They're
have.
not better if they get Aaron Rodgers.
No.
They're not a playoff
well,
team.
Mike White is.
They got
better
Mike
than-
White right now.
No. Look, here's the thing. I think if
They
his
have a
attitude,
potential All-Pro running back.
Sure.
So
They have a solid defense.
Yeah, sure.
Actually,
So-
could be
Wait a minute. How's Green Bay's running
Mike
back?
White.
It was actually pretty decent.
Oh yeah, he was really
Pretty
decent.
Mike White has that locker room. He owns that team.
Yeah, sure.
So those guys are going to play for him. Aaron Rodgers comes in, and the first time Aaron Rodgers yells at Garrett Wilson because Garrett Wilson was open down the field and Aaron
I
Rodgers
don't know.
can't
Saucer
throw
went
it
and
to
burned
him.
the cheesehead.
Look, I don't like talking poo-poo about the NFC North. I know it's a major, strong division year in and year out. And compared to the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots, it's like way up here versus down here. But no, you take Aaron Rodgers and you put him on the Jets, he's going to get thrashed.
Okay.
And on top of that, he's going to ruin your locker room.
Yeah,
That's-
He's a toxic
If
player.
You don't think the players in a lot of the league talk to each other left and right and say,
Yeah.
hey, if this guy comes in, watch out for these things. If you
No.
don't think these guys
So
talk
based
to
on
each
what
other-
you're saying, he should just retire.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, get it, go.
I think
You
Aaron
won your
Rodgers-
Super Bowl. You'll be in the Hall of Fame.
The sad thing is, you know how many
You'll
more.
get his
I'm not saying he
flowers.
would have won. You know how many Super Bowls he could have been in if he would have had a better attitude?
Oh,
How many NFC Championship games have they been in with Rodgers? Several.
Look, if you were to take attitude out of it, and you look at his ability, I think he becomes up there with Brady.
If he,
But the problem is his attitude was absolutely the reason why it kept him out.
His attitude kept saying, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me.
Right.
It's these guys.
And,
These
and
guys
the worst
aren't
part
doing
is
what they should do.
he
It's
would
not
look
me.
at people like us and say, "You don't know anything.
Mhm.
I'm Aaron Rodgers," and that's
Like-
the exact reason why he only has one Super Bowl.
You had one of the best receivers in the league, and
Yeah.
you drove him off. That's
Yeah.
my belief. That's why Adams wanted out because
there
of
was a
Aaron
money
Rodgers.
situation in there too.
They could have figured that piece
I
out.
don't. Well, no.
They could have.
Well, yeah.
If Rodgers-
Where'd that money go?
And here's the thing: if
Where did
Rodgers,
that money go?
no, and I
Aaron
agree
Jones.
with this. If Rodgers,
A little bit.
if Rodgers would have taken, like for
Aaron
example,
Rodgers.
Brady
Aaron
or
Rodgers.
Michael Jordan,
I was
taking
waiting
a
for
pay
it.
cut out of it.
Like
Because first of all, how much he's making so much from endorsements.
Yeah. Look, Brady learned early on in his career, it's not about the contract that he makes from the New England Patriots.
Brady
Hey,
said
it also
it's
helps
about
when your wife
Super
is
Bowl.
making more than you. A
Gronkowski,
lot
it's
more.
about
So
Super
what?
Bowl. It's not about MVP.
You can afford
It's
to
about the
take a little
Super
bit of a
Bowl.
splurge
Yep.
in the money.
That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So $20
I'm
million.
going to take $25 million less, but you pay this offensive line what you didn't pay me.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what Brady did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, I look at you look at teams with young quarterbacks that are in their first rookie contract. If they can deliver, the reason why they can deliver is because they have so much money to spend because of that rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
If the quarterback after the rookie contract takes a gigantic pay increase, like what we're thinking is going to happen with Lamar Jackson here, well, all of a sudden you can't pay your wide receivers, you can't pay your linemen, you can't pay your defense.
What's going to happen with Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes?
That's a whole.
I
Well, it
think-
I
depends.
think it's going to start slowly going like this.
I think
That
I think
depends.
I think Mahomes follows Brady.
I think you're right.
I think
I agree with you.
Yep.
I think Mahomes does.
I
He
can't-
sees the value
I
in the
can't
Super
stand
Bowl.
Mahomes because he's a Chief.
That's fair. That's fair.
I give
But-
you that.
Yeah.
But with that said, I think he's going to restructure his deal. He's a smart kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to restructure his deal so he can get the Kelseys back.
Yep.
Because I'm sorry, Mahomes isn't as good without Kelsey.
Oh, and he knows that though.
He knows.
So-
So Mahomes wants Brady's record in Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Mahomes is about
Yep.
the history of the game. He is playing the game better than any quarterback that I've seen in the recent years. Right? He's at another level right now. When the guy is flying through the air and sidearming the ball, and he comes within that close of actually making a completion to pass.
Left-handed
This,
throw.
this guy is at another
Don't
level.
you hate on left-handers?
And I think
That's
he's,
all right with
I
my
think
right
he's
hand,
gonna
but I'm
do.
left-handed.
Yeah, he's following Brady policy.
That's
He's
just for
gonna- he's
looks
gonna do
with
this.
10.
Well, no,
Make
I
it
actually
more
wrote with my
professional.
right.
Um,
Take my second or my.
I do want to talk about one more trade possibility. It's not the one on your guys' sheet because I thought I'd put it on here. The possibility of Derrick Henry getting traded. Have you guys heard about that?
Don't
Yeah,
you tease me.
I did hear about that.
Don't you tease me.
I mean, I've heard a few. Like, one that really intrigued me was actually him going to Detroit.
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Well, that's a way to end
Was
the
that
guy's
really
no,
career.
no kidding. No kidding.
Was that-
That's
was that real?
the first thing I thought of too. I was like, wow,
how
why would you
amazing
do that to a
Derrick
guy?
Henry is and how he has changed
Najee,
the running
he
back
complained about.
Oh,
position. Those 350 carries a year. He's 29 now. How long can he do? What team is going to trade the value that Tennessee's going to want for him?
that is true.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you on that. I don't know if a trade happens for him because of that reason.
Yeah.
Because Tennessee's going to want a lot of value. But
But in all these trade scenarios, I saw I think 4 or 5 of them, and the highest traded actual like draft pick they got was like a second rounder.
and that's in all honesty, that's probably
It's almost like
that's
from what I was
probably
seeing, it was
reasonable
like
at this point.
it was almost like an upgraded, which I always
Man.
thought was a joke. Was Randy Moss's deal going to New England?
Derrick Henry needs to set a sponsorship deal with some form of plant company, because the way he plants people with those
Right.
those stiff arms, dude, I'm telling you,
So-
he is. I would buy all sorts of plant. I'm not even a herbologist or whatever, plant grower. I would buy that stuff because it was made by Derrick Henry and he plants people.
Look, I think if
Dude, he's so
If
dynamic.
Derrick Henry did go to the Lions, and let's just play hypotheticals here. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say he does. As I'm thinking about it, that might not be a bad move for
The
him.
Bengals were another one. I remember seeing that one.
So hold on. If he let's say he goes to the Lions.
So the Lions could use him, that 1-2 punch. He doesn't
So
have to be at every down back.
By the way, Swift was going to Tennessee.
Yeah,
as
Swift-
well.
I was
that,
just
and
gonna,
that would be.
I was just going to say,
Right.
Swift in a second rounder for Henry
So-
would probably be enough.
Another one was going to Cincinnati.
So hold on. Their backfield would be Derrick Henry and Captain Dragon Ball Z. Dude, that would be amazing. They would have the coolest. They'd have the coolest backfield in the world.
I mean, think about that.
Oh
it
my
might
gosh.
not be a bad backfield because
Which is why we.
Okay, I'm out of the loop on Captain Dragon Ball Z.
Are you serious?
I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
You know who their running backs were, right? Yeah, DeAndre
Jamal
Swift and
Williams.
Jamal Williams.
Did they call him
Jamal
Dragon Ball
Williams.
Z?
Dude,
he's an anime guru.
Oh, I don't know
He
what.
like comes out.
I don't
with-
watch anime.
He comes out with like
This guy does.
Naruto.
Yep, exactly. He just-
Pokemon.
and he just
Dragon Ball. Yeah.
he's that type of guy. Like he's
He's a
he would sit in with our group.
Do you
and
understand
be
why I was
perfect.
lost there?
Yeah, I do
Yes,
now.
we-
But if you've ever seen, like,
I thought
and
there
I
was
hate
someone
the
they were
Lions.
calling him like Dragon
But
Ball
if you
Z or
saw
something.
if you saw Hard Knocks, you would see like they talk about
Can
his
you
attitude
imagine
in
that backfield?
Like was
with
Goff Pokemon?
Go,
Kind of, yeah.
Goff under center, and you got Williams and Henry
Yeah.
standing
That's
back.
like
that's
I'm
what I
saying,
mean.
like,
As
yeah.
I'm thinking about this,
Henry lined
that
up
might
as a
not be that
fullback.
wouldn't be that bad of a
But-
backfield.
And
Another
not only that, but
scary
like
one-
Henry gets to carry the payload. You have Williams as the father figure of the Lions. Like he is that captain, and Henry just gets to go out there.
He's got the mane, too.
So,
Just
yeah,
have,
you know,
He's kind of got a mane going.
oh,
too.
it would be.
I'm not a Packers fan, but I like Williams better than Jones as a running back.
Okay.
When they both played in Green Bay together,
Yep.
I like Williams better. I
Mhm.
felt he was the more complete back.
Okay.
He caught the ball
That's
out of the backfield, and he's bigger. He's just not as fast.
How
And
scary,
that's
All right.
how scary if he
going
goes to
back to our
Cincinnati?
combine conversation.
Shut up. Shut up.
Again, Steeler fan here.
Shut up. We can beat Burrow. We beat Burrow in the first week with Trubisky. Our defense is good enough to beat Burrow.
I think some of your
Your-
water got
your
this
de-
can.
Your defense just didn't beat Burrow. You
Embarrassed
outright
him.
made him look
Yeah.
stupid.
Yes.
Yes, and so my thing is we can beat Burrow.
You made Burrow look like Joey Harrington.
We can't beat Derrick Henry. Like
And Joey Burrow.
no, we can't beat Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is ran on us so bad, over and over and over again. We can't beat him because our defense is designed to stop passes at this point in time. You put a heavy run game in front of Pittsburgh right now, and we struggle.
Fair enough.
Like that's the way the league goes, right? Like you see these patterns. We've designed our defense to stop passes, and more
It's a
defenses are
passing
doing
league.
that
Why wouldn't
because
you?
that's the case. And then all of a sudden you throw a heavy run in. Oh well, now things just got real interesting. I mean that's the way it's going to go. You're going to see that. You're going to see some big linemen come out that are fast and furious, and you're going to see some running backs that are just mean spirited,
Vin
and they
Diesel?
will run through.
So is Vin
Yes.
Diesel
Oh, yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Walker in this? Wait, I'm sorry,
Wow.
he's dead. I'm sorry, he's dead.
Really?
I apologize for that.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, just so you guys know, I've only watched
This is only the second most offensive thing you said.
I've only ever watched 2 of the Fast and Furious movies.
Uh-huh.
I've only ever seen 2.
Uh-huh.
We won't touch on the first.
Yeah, we won't touch on the first one.
Moving along. All right, now I'll actually get into the free agency portion. How's
Sure.
that?
Yeah,
Guys,
that's
we're a
good, that's
dysfunctional group.
Great, we're at 3 on the list.
We'll start with quarterback, where we've pretty much been talking for a while.
Yeah,
here.
that's true, and we've covered a little bit.
So
of Lamar.
first, I want to cover the ones that have been resigned, and that was. You want? I'll let you guys pick. You want to talk Daniel Jones or Geno first? Someone of the three to throw a name out there. We'll go.
All right, Gino. So, all right. I think I question whether Gino has a repeat year. Everyone's all high on Geno Smith.
That's fair.
He's a comeback player of the year, right? They give it to him.
Yep.
I think he did a phenomenal job with this past season. I just think Geno Smith is going to revert back to who Geno Smith really is. I think he slowly slinks back into the guy who's afraid to really throw the ball. I think he pulls it down and tries to run and make too much happen with his own legs, so he doesn't have anymore. I think he stops reading the coverages the way he should, the way he did, when it was with the Jets, right?
Yeah.
So, I maybe he has a decent year, but he's not repeating.
I like that they
next season
re-signed
that
him.
he had.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
He doesn't need to run the ball. He's got Ken Walker behind him.
He does.
This is true. This is true.
So
Right.
Ken Walker was not healthy last year. The games that he was healthy, Ken Walker was scary.
Mm-hmm.
So now you add Ken Walker to that. You still got DK. You still got Lockett.
Okay.
So I think Geno is going to be about the same. He's not going to be better. He's not going to be any worse. He's
Actually,
just
Fant
going to.
didn't do that in bad form at tight end either.
He's
Yeah,
going to be
okay,
a
he's-
serviceable quarterback. He's going to win games for the Seahawks.
But what did he do towards the back half of the season
They declined. He
that
declined.
reminded you of what he used to be?
Right.
I like
right.
that they re-signed
I do
him.
agree
I
with
just
that.
don't like the amount of money he was given.
Right.
He was
He
way
was
overpaid.
Yeah, that's fair.
Way overpaid.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think he.
I mean, you talk about the combine stuff. This is almost like borderline
Yeah.
similar.
When,
No,
when
I
I,
agree.
when I
One's
saw this
Did
deal,
great for half the season,
all I
three
saw
quarters of the
was
season,
Seattle's is suckers.
and he got too much money.
They paid him way too much for one decent year.
I think he was. I think he deserved a pay raise.
Yes.
I think he earned a pay raise, but Yeah, like you guys said, I think he got too much.
But
But then I look at Daniel Jones, and like, man, look, was it an improvement this past year versus years prior? Yes. And I get that New York is a heavy, heavy media market, but is it really going to be worth what they're going to pay for him? Is it really worth what you're going to get out of him? Because I do not see him as a franchise quarterback. I just don't.
I don't either.
He just hasn't sold me on it.
okay, so before you go on there and on this mindset, I get why they did what they did. They had two options: they either pay Saquon a tremendous amount of money, or they give it to Daniel Jones. Of the two positions, which is easier to replace, running back or quarterback?
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But I'm not saying you want them both, obviously.
The caliber of Daniel Jones is not worth
Okay.
that.
We have this list right here, right?
Well, hold on.
What are you
To Tony's
replacing
point-
with?
Jimmy
Hold on, to
Garoppolo.
Tony's.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Garoppolo stays healthy, he wins games. Look, it's proven. His record shows it. When he's
Doesn't
healthy,
Don't
though-
disagree.
whoa,
the problem
does
is
he wins games.
the
Does
problem
it-
is
He
it's
wins
staying
games.
healthy portion.
He stays healthy.
Tim Tebow won some games too.
Not in the NFL.
And
Yeah, he did. He took the
Not
he beat
enough-
the Steelers
not
in the
enough to beat the
playoffs.
Garoppolo.
there's a
Well,
dynamic that
he beat
Daniel
the Steelers
Jones
in the
brings.
playoffs.
Yeah, the Steelers,
There's a,
though, yeah.
but there's a huge dynamic Daniel Jones brings. Garoppolo doesn't.
Garoppolo.
How many times? I mean,
Dude.
Daniel Jones ran up for a couple 50-yard runs this year, didn't he?
He did.
Okay, and did it get them the success that they wanted?
Did you think they were going to be a playoff team? 'Cause
Jimmy-
I didn't.
I thought they would make the playoffs.
I didn't think they were making the playoffs this year. I
you
really
look at-
didn't.
You look at the
Who?
division.
The Giants.
No, I didn't think they were.
I didn't think so.
I
I
thought
didn't
they
think
But well, hold on. Let me rephrase that. I knew Philly was going to make the playoffs. I never had any faith in the Cowboys or the Commanders making the playoffs.
True.
So it comes down to the wild card spot. Could the Giants steal one? Yeah, they have the talent to steal one, and they did.
Correct.
But do I look at them as better than teams that got left out of the playoffs? No, I would have taken the Lions over them in a heartbeat.
So,
And that's saying a lot because I don't like the Lions.
Right.
I,
In
mean,
the
I don't
his-
hate the Lions, but I
in
don't
the
like
history
them
of
either.
Daniel Jones, he's had his rookie year when he only
Yeah.
played half the year. He was good. This year, all the other years, all he does is fumble the ball and throw interceptions.
Yeah.
So you take him out, put Garoppolo in with Saquon Barkley behind him. So Garoppolo hands it off to Saquon, throws it to his mediocre receivers. When Garoppolo first got to San Francisco, what did he have? Mediocre receivers.
But I want to point this out with Saquon
He
because
was still
they go
successful.
together.
Yeah.
These two go together. Like literally, these two almost need to be linked together because Saquon played pretty much the entire season. I mean, did he miss one game?
Yes.
Okay,
I own him. I know that.
so
I was going to say, I'm sure there's
for the majority of
still,
Daniel Jones' career,
could be.
Saquon has been hurt.
That's fair,
Yeah, that's
except
fair.
for his rookie. Well, even his rookie year.
Even his rookie year, he got hurt. Yep.
So for the most part, he's really never had that. I think he showed what he's capable of doing.
Wow.
Let me rephrase this. I don't think it's
a
a
touchy
Hold
subject.
on, so we go
Yeah,
back.
I
We
just
go back
like
to
Garoppolo.
Saquon, right?
Yeah,
Saquon
I'm
stayed
with
healthy. Hold on. We've
Of
seen
course,
Daniel
you're San
Jones in
Francisco.
seasons where Saquon was out, right? And he looked like what?
Trash.
Poo poo. You have Saquon healthy for the first time ever, for most of the season.
And
How'd Daniel Jones do?
he gets paid.
Had a pretty good season,
Yeah.
right? So who was the variable in this conversation? Was it Daniel Jones or was it Saquon Barkley?
Saquon all day long.
Okay, so then why would you pay Daniel Jones when you could have Saquon in that case?
To Eric's point is because it's harder to replace a quality.
I
QB.
understand that, but is he quality QB if he can't win without Saquon?
But also,
So,
does,
I
if
don't
I
disagree
recall,
with that. I don't-
So-
but here's
okay,
the other
so-
thing:
so
if,
there's
they,
a point.
if he flip flop the two, so
Oh,
Daniel
I mean,
Jones,
hold on. Flip flop the two who?
Saquon, if you get
Gino
if they,
or
no,
Jimmy?
no.
He's talking
So
about
they
Saquon.
paid
Oh, okay,
Saquon.
yeah, they paid
Tag.
Saquon.
Yeah.
and then they franchise tag Jones.
Yeah.
He becomes like a top 5 paid
Oh,
quarterback.
hold on,
So this
hold on.
became a cheaper deal for him.
Oh, I understand. Here's my thing. Keep Saquon tagged, like you did. Look at one of these top 10 free agent quarterbacks.
Okay.
I think with Saquon,
So
if you throw, and again, I am absolutely against Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that he has ridden the Belichick coattails all the way through his life. There's been very few people that have fail forwarded more than Jimmy G.
Oh, that
So-
hurts to hear that.
I know it does as a Niners fan, I get it, but no one has failed forwarded more than Jimmy G. Oh, he's going to be great this year. He's going to be amazing this year. Which year? I'm still waiting for it. I'm still waiting for it.
When he's healthy, when he's when
he's healthy.
When he's healthy,
yeah, sure.
he wins games.
Does he though?
Yes.
Does
he? His record's shown that when he's healthy, he wins games.
He gets the
it
49ers
done.
to the playoffs.
You can say the same thing about Alex Smith.
But again, that was not because of Jimmy G. That was because of their defense and the rest of their running game.
He still got to score.
Like
points.
Raheem Morris or Mostert
Trent
carried
Dilfer
that
won a
at the
Super
end of the
Bowl.
year.
Thank you. You still got
Again, you're right. You're right.
In this NFL, you can get away with having a serviceable quarterback and win a Super
Yes.
Bowl.
I agree with that.
Tommy Mize?
This brings me back to this point. I don't agree with Jimmy G on this list, but I mean, honestly, you could throw Derek Carr in there, and I think you get a better.
Okay, so to
So
your
just
point,
so you know,
just
on this
said,
list, some of these
you
guys
need
are
a
looked at as
serviceable
potential
quarterback
backups as well.
I agree.
and can win in this league, right? Daniel Jones, to your point, is a serviceable quarterback that can win you games if Saquon Barkley is healthy,
With turnover issues.
right? Yes, but if you got
with Saquon.
you got Saquon in there, so
But
you're right.
again,
It's a cheaper deal for him.
Well,
It's a serviceable
but with-
quarterback, and
with-
who else
with-
on here do you have?
with the history of Daniel Jones, I'd be afraid of for the Giants that he's going to revert. I would take. Hear me out here. This is going to be a rough conversation for me because I hate this man. Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones.
No.
so
Not
hold
the
on,
same
no, no, no,
career
no, no,
trajectory.
no, hold on.
They're both.
Hold on. You brought up Trent Dilfer, right?
Yes.
Winning a.
He
Super
won
Bowl.
it off the Baltimore defense.
Okay,
Yes.
how many interceptions did he throw that year?
A lot.
No, he did not.
No. He
No.
He barely threw the ball.
Exactly, and that's why that
He
team
handed
won.
the ball off.
That's why I think Daniel Jones is such a problem
And
because
threw it to
when
Brandon
Saquon
Staley.
wasn't there, he throws lots of interceptions, and even this year, he still threw interceptions.
Yes, I agree.
Like-
Like I said, to Tony's point, it's
You
a serviceable
can't
quarterback.
just take any quarterback. You have to take a quarterback that can still take care of the ball in this case. And again, Derek Carr threw a lot of interceptions still this year, but I still think his upside is still higher
last year,
than a Daniel
Last year,
Jones.
without Adams, he was better.
I
than
agree.
Carr.
I agree.
I had him on my fantasy team.
Yeah,
I
he
had
was.
both Herbert and Carr.
Right.
And when Herbert was struggling, I thought about starting Carr last year.
You
Not
probably
last year.
you
but
probably
the year
would have won
before.
more games in that case too. In those cases,
Yeah.
Not that it was bad. I mean, obviously you did well, but
Yeah.
Here's
I mean,
another
league
variable that
acres
we're not
Yeah.
talking about also as far as Daniel Jones. Who's that big time target he's got to throw to?
which big time target?
Exactly.
He doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean,
Couldn't go with it.
could he
Oh,
be-
he's gone.
was he ever there? Was he really ever there? Was Sterling Sharp really ever there?
That was really good, by the way.
I mean, you could say Slayton's probably the best one he's had, but Slayton drops a lot as well.
I think Slayton
But
is
he's
going
coming
to-
Wait,
up.
hold on. Wasn't Odell Beckham's last year as a Giant his rookie year?
Yes.
So his best was Odell.
But
The
that was also like
the
a
amazing
decline.
one-handed catch
So-
that was
so you're-
thrown by Daniel Jones.
So what you're saying is he had Odell.
But-
He had Odell.
How many games did he start as a rookie? I don't think a rookie taking a rookie.
Maybe, yeah, he started halfway through the season. He went in for Eli.
The very end.
At least the last couple.
It was
of
at the
games.
very end.
But still, that next year he was the quarterback. He had Odell.
Well, we weren't looking at a guy that was coming out of college that was like, boom, you're inserting him day one as your starting quarterback.
I agree with that, but it's the NFL. Step up.
I mean, here's the thing: he's matured and he's going to.
Sure. Yeah, maybe. He's
I don't
changed.
disagree with what they did personally.
Yeah. What I
Maybe.
have to say about Daniel Jones, prove me wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out there and prove me wrong.
It's true.
So
Look, is he better than me as a quarterback? Heck yeah, he is. He's amazing compared to me. But is he better than the rest of the 32 that are out there? Some, yes. But again, could there be someone else on the free agent market that could step in and do a better job? I think so.
Well, we're also not seeing. We don't see the intangibles, right? How is he in the locker room? Is he
That's
in the
true.
locker room
We don't
while
know
the guys play for him, while the guys run through a flaming brick wall
That's-
for this guy.
That-
Right? So
that's
true.
a good
So-
point.
That's
That's
a good point.
the,
Yep.
going back
And
to
as
the
a quarterback,
Mike
that
White
matters.
conversation
Yeah.
earlier.
So it's going to bring up our next guy I was actually talking about. He's already mentioned him, which happened before Daniel Jones got re-signed, and that's Derek Carr. So he was off the conversation because he was actual free agent before the free agency period started because he was released.
Yep.
So, because I know at one point Derek Carr was looked at as being a Jets quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do we know that he wasn't somewhere in that Giants conversation? Well, we could get him and then sign Saquon and improve our quarterback.
If
And then
I
just
don't
let
think-
Daniel
I-
Jones go.
I don't think Derek Carr goes to the Giants at all if he's released from the Raiders, because what weapons does he have besides Saquon?
True.
So he's in New Orleans now.
Oh, he's in a great place.
He's got
himself.
Olave.
Absolutely.
He's got Kamara.
Yeah.
Even though Kamara struggled, even if he plays this year.
Kamara might have his own little issues going off
Yeah.
the field there that we don't know about.
But he's got Olave. Maybe he's a reinsurgent from Michael Thomas. If Michael Thomas can stay on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's truth to that.
No, I really thought in my mind he was going to the Jets, and then when the Saints signed him, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need a quarterback, I think he was the guy to grab.
I think he's the best one on there.
Yeah.
Well, he's technically he'd be the
Next to
second
Jimmy.
best one.
No, Carr's better than Jimmy.
No, I said, yeah, he's the
Okay.
best one there.
So
Okay, Jimmy. Yeah.
there's one more quarterback we're going to discuss before we get into what's available, and that's
Lamar.
the one that was actually tagged, and that was Lamar. Now, Lamar, in my opinion, of all these, is the best of
I
this
agree.
entire list.
I agree.
And
Hands down.
I think he would have got a tremendous contract wherever he would have went. Now he could still get it
I was gonna say he's still
because he gets a non-exclusive, which means anyone can get him. The problem is Baltimore has the opportunity to match, and if they don't match it, then they get 2 first-round picks.
compensatories.
So I think they're first-rounders.
So
But they're the 33rd.
Oh,
pick.
okay,
They're compensatories.
right.
And again, that depends also what deal they get for him. I'm sure that they will want part
From what
of
I've
that
heard,
deal.
he
There will
wants
be a first round
the
draft.
Deshaun
pick.
Watson deal, which is like all guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I would too if I was him.
I mean, any player would, but it's just not realistic.
here's my.
I don't
thing
know.
with-
It worked for Kirk Cousins.
I don't think it was solid guaranteed, all of it, was it?
I'm
thought it
pretty
was-
certain it
I
was.
thought it was
Lamar's
60 of the
majority.
76.
I thought the other 16 was a signing bonus.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
I'm almost
it was
positive
pretty
that
much
was
a
all
done
guaranteed.
deal, yeah.
So Lamar is one I want to spend a lot of time with.
So let me make my point on Lamar.
Yeah.
So I've had this debate with many people on running quarterbacks. I don't like them. I know they're good for the NFL. They're good for, the team. They're good for fantasy, but they're not good for fantasy wide receivers. He's going to drop back, find his first option. In Baltimore, it's Mark Andrews. I was talking about this earlier.
Mhm.
He throws it to Mark Andrews. You got Bateman, who is an electric receiver, and you're not throwing the ball to him.
well, you got to be on the
So-
field.
Well,
He
yeah.
was hurt a lot.
Okay, Hollywood Brown.
I was gonna
They
say,
got rid of
They
him.
got rid of him. He went to Philly and did really well.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona.
Arizona, sorry.
Yes.
And
So-
did very well.
So that's the problem with running quarterbacks. So going into last year, Eric was with the stream with Guy, and I came out and I said Jalen Hurts proved me wrong. I didn't think he was a good quarterback at all.
I argued that one too.
Was this pre or
he
post
argued
Call of
with
Duty?
What?
Was this pre or post Call of Duty?
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was thinking Kyler Murray again with the Arizona. Sorry. My apologies.
So you're just stuck
Well,
in
no.
Arizona.
Well, yeah. Continue. Sorry.
So Jalen Hurts came out and proved me wrong.
Call of Duty.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. You never heard about that?
Was he playing Call of Duty a lot?
Oh my gosh, that'll be another topic. Continue.
Okay.
Now I forgot my train of thought.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I had AJ Brown on my
sure?
fantasy team.
yeah.
I traded him away when he was traded to Philadelphia because I didn't
Didn't
like
think it was
Hurts.
gonna. Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't think Hurts was just going to run the ball, look at his first option, run the ball. When you got Goddard, they drafted Smith, and they traded for AJ Brown. You got a running quarterback. You can't spread the ball out. He proved me wrong. He
Yeah.
spread the ball out. Lamar's not going to do that. Lamar in his
Depends where he
career.
goes.
Well, Lamar was starting to do that, and he got sucked out of that role and put back into the running quarterback role. When Lamar came out,
Yeah.
they wanted to make him a wide receiver when he first
They
came out,
did,
right? All the
yeah.
teams were saying, "Oh, wide receiver,
Wide
tight
receiver,
end."
yep.
And he said, "No, I'm a quarterback." And he said, "I want to be a pocket passer. I want to go somewhere where I can be a pocket passer. I'm not a running quarterback."
With that said, the reason I'm kind of waiting on Lamar is they got a new offensive coordinator now.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to let him rip the ball down the field, or is that new offensive coordinator going to do the same old Ravens?
He can throw it.
I know he can throw,
I was.
but are they going to let him?
That's
the thing, though. I don't know if the relationship between the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson is recoverable. Like, I think they're starting to get very, very frustrated with each other, to which I think a clean break's going to happen either
I
way.
don't understand why he hasn't been paid already.
I agree.
Well, that goes to his point.
It's a round table here.
I get that
I
point,
think.
yes.
Well, this is a square table.
I
think everyone's going to agree that he should have been paid at least
Well,
a year ago.
I thought he got a little bit of a bump after like his rookie season. I could be wrong, but I thought he got some money.
It was somewhere there he got something, but
Right.
I mean, he's not getting MVP money.
No, he's
No,
not.
he's
He's
not.
not. But again, he's got to stay on the field. He's got to stay healthy. But look, me as a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, if I will not be sad if Lamar leaves Baltimore.
Why would you? Yeah.
I'd be very happy. And in all honesty, when you look at Lamar's talent and abilities, I know that there's only going to be, quote unquote, a small amount of teams that will look at him as a feasible option. But in all honesty, if teams were to really look themselves in the mirror and say, is my quarterback better than Lamar Jackson? There's a lot of teams that would say they are not in a better spot.
Going back to something we had started with was that trade between Chicago and Carolina.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been smarter for Carolina to just get him?
I don't know if he goes.
Because you have a defense that's primed and ready to shut down people.
Yeah, but does he go there and do?
You still have then you're keeping DJ Moore.
What was that, -$1 million in cap space right now for Carolina?
They can work around that stuff.
Oh, can they for Lamar Jackson
Not
money?
for Lamar Jackson money.
Well, Lamar Jackson money.
Yeah, that's.
They got Lamar Jackson money? I don't see Lamar Jackson money here.
They're not going to clear up that much space.
No,
Yeah.
they can't.
They don't got Lamar Jackson money.
They can't.
That's the
You-
reason.
you-
they
you might
need-
be right. You
so
might
hold
have
on,
the
you may be
best
right,
spot to
right.
go to, but
And this comes
They
to
could.
Pittsburgh too. The reason why Pittsburgh is in a pretty good spot right now is because Kenny Pickett's going to be on that rookie deal for a while. But even they're in the negative in regards to cap space. And so they have the ability to free some up, and they're going to, and they're going to work some things around. But they have a quarterback locked in at a fairly decent rate for a while. And that's what Carolina needs in order to put themselves in a positive position. They don't have the money to go for Lamar Jackson.
So let's talk him. Let's talk Lamar. Let's go around this room right now and name. I'm gonna name teams off.
Yeah.
And so I'll start with Dallas. He's not going to Dallas, obviously.
Why not?
they already got.
They already got Dak.
They got Dak kind of
Are you saying that Dak is better than Lamar?
I mean,
I'm saying
for
that,
what they'd
I'm
have to,
saying-
it would be just a
I'm just saying,
financial
though.
tragedy for them.
Right.
to
I'm
do
not
that.
saying it's going to happen,
No.
but I'm saying he may not go there, correct? But
For what Dallas?
He's
would
not
have
going to
do,
Philly.
It's not.
no, he's not going to Philly.
Not going to
At this point, obviously, he's not going to. So Washington is the one in that division where I could see him going.
Yeah, I can see it.
They need. That's like their probably number one need at
Yeah,
this
they
point.
got $16 million in cap space. They're positive at least. That's possible.
It gives them a couple decent wide receivers, a really good wide receiver. Actually, Terry McLaurin is.
Yeah, but what is Washington going to have to give up to get him? I mean, again, you just saw for the number one pick overall, which we think is going to be a quarterback, right? You just saw a number one wide receiver position.
Which
But we just also
Number one.
so let's
Pick.
go to the number
Baltimore's
one
probably
pick.
not going to match to whatever offer they deal, so they can get him for the
from
two.
what I said, who's going to be the first pick? If Carolina goes that route,
Yeah.
you have Lamar Jackson already because he's 4'4". He's bigger than Lamar. The dude is 6'4", 244.
Sure.
Anthony Richards. He's bigger than Lamar. Can throw the ball.
Lamar's beefed up since he's been in the league.
Don't get me wrong, he
Well,
has, but
and-
he's not.
And that was a lot of
Well,
reason
hold
when
on, Tony.
the receiver talk was out there.
With
because how skinny he was
that
when he was coming
guy,
in.
Right.
it's all potential.
Exactly.
It's all potential.
Lamar's proven. I get
Lamar's
that.
proven. That counts for something.
Yes.
So again, I go back to that deal, and I think in order for this to happen, what is Washington going to give up? And it's not going to be cheap. Like they're going to have to give up draft capital. They're going to have to give up.
McLaurin.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
they're
one
gonna-
of their two
No,
running backs.
Or-
if they do,
or
if
do they
they
give up
sign,
defensive
if they,
help?
because he's
Like,
not
I mean-
exclusive,
Chase.
they sign him.
Oh,
Chase-
man, Chase Young. Oh,
But we just talked
But you're
Baltimore's.
right. It's a possibility.
But
in order to
Baltimore's
get
probably
Lamar.
not going to match their deal. You're talking Baltimore signs him and then trades him.
That's what I think is going to
That's
happen.
what you're talking.
I do. I think that's what's going to happen.
So they'd have to be willing to match whatever the
Well-
other team's going to give them.
Look at it this way: Baltimore right now is sitting in a position where they are negative $8 million in cap space. Washington is 15 or 16 positive, almost 17. Can they match that deal? Are they going to be able to match that
No.
deal? So
So
again, I think he gets traded to. Washington.
completely hypothetical. If he's traded to Washington, Washington gives a first rounder, Chase Young, maybe McLaurin, and either Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson. That completely changes. Well, Baltimore doesn't need a running back. They got
Now
Jake
this I'm
Elliott.
not sure of, and I apologize. I think he has to sign the free.
He would have to sign the free agent tender first.
Yes.
Then the trade would have to happen.
Yes.
But again, if the trade deal is in place, like the agents, the teams are going to be in place before that happens.
Lamar doesn't have an agent.
Well, sorry,
his own
that's
agent.
true. He is his own agent. That is a good point. But Lamar will have that whole situation ready to go before that would even be a possibility. Again, I just don't see it happening. I maybe Washington. Maybe.
I think it's a good place. I think it's a good place for him to go.
I mean, the other
He's
thing
not going to Chicago.
No, but what if he sits out? What if he pulls a Deshaun Watson? That used to never be a thing until we saw Deshaun in what's his name? The Steelers running back. Why can't I think of his name? Michigan State.
He's not. Someone will make the. It'll happen.
No, but I mean, he
He
sat
will
out
play
a
this
year.
year somewhere.
Why can't I think of his name? This is ridiculous. I'm an idiot right now.
I just keep thinking Leon Washington, but I know that's not right.
What is it?
Bell.
Le'Veon.
Le'Veon Bell.
Right. Le'Veon started a trend. As crazy as it is, sitting out a year, it didn't work out for him. Well, I don't know. He got paid. He got
He
paid.
got paid, but he did that.
He got paid less,
wasn't the last
and
year
then
we saw
he
him
went
in
to
the
the Jets.
And you take a year off, it's hard for a quarterback to get back into
What do you think
it,
about
running
this
back.
with the toxic relationship that's going on with Kyler and the Cardinals?
Yeah.
What if Baltimore and the Cardinals
Take
just
a
go
swap?
bloop?
Yeah, but
Kyler ends up in Baltimore.
But what did
Lamar
Kyler
ends
get
up-
for a contract? I mean, that was big money. So maybe they can't afford that
I
either.
see where you're going. I'm not sure that happens. That swap happens.
But
yeah, you're
hypothetically,
right. You're right.
just like the Washington situation, what
Yeah.
is Washington going to have to give up?
Right.
Maybe that'll happen. Maybe they just swap for another quarterback that's on. Nobody's really on Lamar level, but you know,
No, but that's a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, that at least has some merit there. I don't think it's going to happen, but
I don't think so.
I don't know. Again, the fact that Lamar Jackson doesn't have a agent, I think he's taking this personally.
Sure.
Look at this. Cardinals have the 3rd overall pick.
Sure, it's a possibility.
So what if they trade the third overall pick to Baltimore for Lamar and then trade Kyler for something else?
What about the Raiders?
This is my fantasy trade brain. You've been in the league long enough. You know I make a
What
million
about the
trades.
Raiders?
My brain's always going.
What about the Raiders?
They have the money.
They got money. They got space. They got talent. It's a possibility. Man, Lamar out in Vegas, you're really not going to like that. Think about it. You'd have
Mahomes,
Lamar
and Russell?
and Russell. Dude, that would be Russell.
Well,
Broncos country. Let's ride.
well, hey, you get a vacation twice a year at least.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like my. It's kind of like
Oh.
that's well.
The Chargers need to trade some guys for defensive players at that point.
Yep.
I know at one point I heard a lot of talk of him going to Atlanta.
Bye Mike Williams.
It's a possibility. Like honestly, that kind of makes sense too. I don't like it, but it makes sense. There's a lot of targets out
But
there.
Atlanta, I don't know. I mean,
But what is Baltimore going to want in return?
That's the key point. I mean, what are they going to want? And who has enough of what they're going to want to give it to them?
That's why
Who's
I
willing to give
brought
it
up
all
the Kyler thing, because that's enough with that 3rd overall pick.
You think
And-
so?
and they got the
are
3rd
we-
overall
Are
pick.
we really saying that Kyler Murray?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so
But-
why would the Ravens do that then? If the Ravens are going to get
Toxic
a quarterback-
situation. So the Ravens,
True.
the Ravens and Lamar are
so you want
toxic.
to add another
Kyler-
toxic situation?
Yeah,
True.
So why would they? Why,
But
I don't. I don't.
The
I
dude
don't
doesn't want to
Hold
study.
on.
But
Is
why?
there a copy of Call of Duty in play on this? Because if so, it may not be so toxic.
But a change of scenery might do Kyler good.
Oh, I think a change of scenery.
And
would
you know,
do Kyler good.
you're going from Cliff Kingsbury to Harbaugh. Harbaugh's not going to let that shit
For a
sorry.
change of
Stuff.
scenery,
Stuff,
for
go.
a change of scenery for Kyler Murray, the offensive line will have to shrink by 3 feet. Let's just be honest.
Good point.
Kyler Murray, right? Kyler Murray is a decent quarterback, but he's not even the caliber of Drew Brees in terms of his size and ability to overcome the size difference, right? Everyone said that Drew Brees wasn't going to be successful because he's too small, right? Kyler Murray is smaller than Drew Brees,
That's
arguably.
what I'm saying about Bryce Young in the draft this year. That's why
Yeah,
don't think he's one.
let's just call it what it is. Kyler Murray. Everyone thought Kyler Murray would be a one-season wonder.
They did, yeah.
All right,
Sure.
and he shouldn't even be in the league now. Kyler Murray, arguably, has done what a lot of people never thought he could do, and he is a really talented quarterback. But is he of the same caliber as Lamar, where the Ravens would say, "Yes, we want that"?
No.
Okay,
I'm not saying that.
in that division as well, does Kyler Murray excel past the teams in that division?
He has
I
to
just
face
want-
T.J. Watt twice a
I
year.
just want T.J. Watt
Right?
to just
I mean, come on. What are we, Kyler Murray, no, yeah. Kyler
Make
Murray.
this deal, Arizona. Come on, baby.
Right.
Let's do it. Pittsburgh West, you can do this, boys.
Kyler should
Kyler
stay
Murray
where he's
running
at
around
and just-
back and
just
forth.
ride that, jump
Oh
on
my
the back
gosh.
of a cardinal wing and fly into the Arizona sunset. Burn him up. I mean, look, he's a good quarterback where he's at.
Yeah.
Okay, you move him out of Arizona, put him in any other team. I don't think he has a level of success
But
that he thinks.
here's
he
the thing.
has.
Cliff Kingsbury is no longer in Arizona. He's in Thailand.
So,
But he still has a lot of. There's still guys he
guess-
can grow to.
Yeah.
hold on. Here's something to kind of consider with Kyler Murray. And again, it all comes back on Kyler Murray to be able to understand what he truly is. Could you technically throw him into, say, New York and try and moneyball this and try and make something happen? I mean, Kyler
Which New
Murray's
York? Which team?
the Giants. Well, actually, either. I mean, both have a talented roster to go with them. I was thinking with Saquon in the backfield. So my thinking is this: Kyler Murray, we know, is not Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he is good,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So again, he's got to protect the football, and that's a big task at this point.
Stay healthy.
And stay healthy. But again, could you build a team where Kyler Murray, if Kyler Murray to understand, look, you're not these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But if we bring in the tools, we can make you better than these guys. We can put you in a position,
Make him a project of the system.
project of the system, and pay him a little less money so you can pay your weapons.
Interesting.
I don't think it's going to happen because I think he's got too big of an ego. But it's honestly that's I think his best bet if he were to do this. I think Lamar's good enough to where you could pay him a lot of money,
Oh,
give
absolutely.
him some weapons, and he's going to win you a Super Bowl.
Oh,
Kyler Murray, the only shot he has of winning Super Bowl is if he puts his ego in check.
Yeah.
Stop playing Call of Duty.
That's you. That's you. Maybe play some Madden.
Go back.
Right?
If you
Maybe learn
here we go with
some
this discussion. The Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. If you go back, what was it 2 years ago when the Cardinals made the playoffs?
Yeah.
If you flip flop the two quarterbacks, you put Lamar on that team.
Oh, yeah.
That team may have actually gone to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. It all comes down to dedication. We
Yeah.
talked about it earlier with Rodgers, right? He's not dedicated to this
Yeah.
craft. You know, I think Brett Favre called him out on that. Bradshaw might have called him out on that as well. You know, if you're dedicated to your craft, you put all your time and energy into your craft. Aaron Rodgers is not doing that. Kyler Murray is not doing that. I argue that Lamar Jackson probably isn't doing that as well. The ones who are doing it, they're seeing great success.
Except for Russell Wilson.
Except for
Broncos
Russell.
country. That's right.
Right? Right? So, I mean, what are we talking about? So we're talking about Call of Duty. That's what keeps coming with Kyler Murray, right?
Mm-hmm.
As funny as it is, the reality is
That's true.
that's his world. That's
And here's
his
the other
life.
thing.
He's
Imagine
not
him in New
dedicated
York.
to his
That would be
craft.
scary because
I'm telling you.
I mean New York is a whole other animal just because of what's around you as far as
Yeah,
the city.
Exactly.
There's so much
You
there.
put him in
True.
New York, that dude.
He's in
falls
Arizona.
in
What's in
the
Arizona?
Again, in his
Scorpions.
current mindset, you're
Yeah.
right.
He
In
falls
his current
in-
mindset, he falls more into traps.
You gotta
So,
check your shoes for scorpions in Arizona.
again, the
That's
only
why
way
I'm saying
he's
inside
going to be
baseball team.
successful is if he checks his ego and
Yeah.
gets to work.
Correct. 100%.
And even that, like, even
But-
to your point,
but that
he has to
requires-
check his ego and get to work.
Yeah.
But that also requires the contract getting rewritten because if I remember, the contract has it written. He doesn't even have to go and study.
Yeah.
See, and that's
That's
the
stupid.
fault of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
That's like, why would you even say, yeah, that sounds great
And
to
that-
us.
that-
Sign here.
That is a
They
reason
created their own
why
Send him to New England.
Kingsbury and the GM of the Cardinals are no longer there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
Lamar in New England.
Nope. Stop.
Not
Not gonna
Shut
happen.
it.
Never gonna happen.
Mac
Nope.
Jones.
Mac Jones is there for life.
I say for why?
Hold on.
He's
Do
a
I
lifer.
think Lamar Jackson is better than Matt Jones? Or Matt
Yes.
Jones? Yes.
I hope so.
Yes, I do.
Will Lamar work with Belichick?
No.
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 That's the reason.
No.
No.
Ooh.
Nope.
I don't. Okay.
The first time Lamar
I
goes
think-
out there and improvises,
No, I don't even think that's a
No, I
problem.
don't think it's a problem either.
I think the problem comes into the fact of Lamar Jackson will be asked to do things he will want to do differently. And I think that's going to be a bit of a struggle. Now, you mentioned how he wanted to be a pocket passer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did, but
So
let's
does
face
Mahomes.
it. Right, let's face it. He still uses his wheels because
Yeah.
he relies
But,
on it.
okay, so this kind of bunny trail a bit here. You look at the Joe Montana, Bill Walsh era. Then you look at Steve Young coming in. The argument was always, is it the quarterback or the system?
Right.
You look at the Belichick Brady. Then you have Mac Jones coming in. Is it the quarterback or the system? Okay. I think if Lamar goes in there and the system, because Belichick is, let's just call it, he's a football guru. Okay. He's a genius in many respects.
He sold his soul to the devil to be able to do it.
Exactly. Let's just call it what it is. I think Belichick builds a system around.
He's there
if
for a
if
bubble
Lamar
team.
goes in there, I think he builds a quality system around Lamar's talent to allow Lamar. His window is right here. I think Belichick says your window's now here. You can still improvise, but I'm going to make a system where your window's like this, and you can have so much more success if you stay in this window. I think Lamar's ego is enough in check that he can follow a scheme, especially by a coach like Belichick. Now, if you go in there with some rookie coach or some 2-year coach that hasn't proven himself, but you go into Belichick, who's got legendary things behind
Could
him.
you
I
imagine
agree,
if-
but Harbaugh. I mean, he's got Harbaugh right now, and again, I hate Harbaugh. I hate
Harbaugh's
his-
won what?
I hate
two?
John. I hate Jim. If there was a
One.
Jack, I'd hate.
One,
Wait, that's
right?
his dad. I hate him too. Actually, I don't. But I mean, I hate John Harbaugh because obviously I don't really hate him, but
Right.
he's a Baltimore Raven head coach.
Sure.
He's successful.
But to his credit on the Belichick comment, can you imagine if Belichick would have gotten Cam Newton at least 2 or 3 years prior
I
to when he
think
got him?
He had success with Cam to a certain level. It
Yeah.
wasn't-
And
wasn't
that was a
major
declined
success.
Cam Newton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think Lamar. If Lamar goes to New England, I think he can have success. I think his ego because it's Belichick. I think because Belichick has the credentials behind him, he's proven himself as I'm a Super Bowl winning, not just a Super Bowl appearing. I'm a Super Bowl winning head coach. You want to win. You want to win and put your name in the Hall of Fame. You follow my scheme and you do what I say. And I'm telling you what, your window's here now.
so here's
You
the
didn't
question
get it,
on
but,
that.
but again, Harbaugh is a Super Bowl winning quarterback or
One time.
coach.
One time. And he has not duplicated that at all since winning that one. And he won
Dude,
against
They've
his,
gotten close.
Dude,
And he
hold
won,
on,
and he
hold on.
won
If he didn't
against his
have-
brother.
Well,
So did he really win?
That's
Did
fair.
he really
That's
win?
fair. My issue is this: when Harbaugh had teams that were close, he had to play.
That was my mic drop.
He had to play against a
Sorry, I
Steelers
had
group that was insane and a New England Patriots group that was better.
Listen.
Like,
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree, but I still
I
look
can't
at
believe I'm freaking.
You realize right now. You realize right now. Hold on. You realize right now. Hold on.
Look what
Hold
I've
on.
done. Look
You
what I've
realize
done.
right now Jimmy's like, I can't see you guys.
That's great. Not only that, I think Jimmy's just like, what the heck's going on? Mark's defending the Baltimore Ravens. This is.
My mission is accomplished.
No, it's like again. I think I don't like. I'm not taking anything away from Belichick. I think you're right. I think he will do well under Belichick.
But
But
who's
again-
calling the plays, Patricia or Lamar?
Well, but he was doing well under John Harbaugh.
Right.
So it's not to say that he couldn't do it currently with his current coach. He has a Super Bowl winning coach.
Sure.
I think going over to to Belichick, it's the same situation. Maybe he gets more. And again, maybe it's because I put more faith in Brady than I do Belichick at this point. In the argument, was it the system or the quarterback? One has won a Super Bowl since the other one's been gone. The other one has not.
No, I can see
And
that.
so-
I agree with that.
Again, I'm not saying that Lamar wouldn't do well in New England. I don't know. I don't put that much faith
It's
in
okay
it.
to the system quarterback argument, and I'll stop bunny trailing. Do you look at that and say if the Patriots had a veteran quarterback, right? Mac Jones, he came in rookie,
Yeah.
right? And he had success, not to the level that Belichick was used to, but he had success. If you put a veteran quarterback in that system with Belichick, do they go further? Do they possibly make a Super Bowl appearance?
Depends on the veteran quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Again, I don't. If you have Aaron Rodgers, if you have Aaron Rodgers there, I don't believe so.
Ooh.
I just don't. I think his ego clashes and they fall apart.
Yeah,
they explode each other.
I give you
It
that.
becomes too toxic.
I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But if you take like I mean, if you go with like, I'm trying to think veteran at this point in time. If you go with Russell Wilson, yeah, I think they do well.
Well, okay, let's just take some of the quarterbacks. Let's say Derek Carr plays with New England. You think he has? Do you
Yes.
think New England goes to Super Bowl?
Yes.
Right? Does it? If Derek Carr goes into New England the same year that Brady goes to the Bucks, do they not meet in the Super Bowl?
No.
Oh, come on.
I don't think so.
Derek Carr is quite possibly one of the most receptive quarterbacks out there, arguably. Right or wrong?
They're not wrong.
Okay, so he does that. He goes to New England.
Yeah.
Does Derek Carr make a Super Bowl appearance against the Buccaneers in the same year Brady does, and then who wins it?
I think Brady still wins it. That Bucs team was really good, but I think you're right. I think it becomes a much different dynamic. The idea of if Derek Carr had gone to New England versus Las Vegas, the same year that Brady went to Tampa, do they meet in the Super Bowl? And does Derek Carr win the Super Bowl over Brady in this case with Belichick at his side?
Talking quarterback versus system.
Yeah, quarterback versus system. And I'm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the apple they chew on now.
Well, let me ask you this question.
That is compelling. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Does Green Bay still make the decision to
No,
on
I'm
the
telling
goal
you.
line?
Why do you keep going back to Aaron Rodgers? He should be out of the
Well,
league.
He should be gone.
He should have been out of
Aaron
the league 2
Rodgers
years
played
ago.
the role of a hobbit this past offseason. He went to a dark room and came out a bigger hobbit.
Press.
Right? So, yeah. Not even looking for his ring. He was...
He lost his ring.
Right here.
I gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Not even looking for his rings. The guy came out of a hobbit hole. So
He doesn't care about
He
the
doesn't
rings.
care,
He just
exactly.
wants MVPs, man.
just wants the MVP.
He just wants a
Yeah,
trophy.
listen now. Come on, man. Come on, man. Aaron Rodgers needs to go. It's time for him to go. I'm sorry.
All right, moving on.
Moving
Tyler
on.
Heineke.
Oh, jeez. Really, the rest of these quarterbacks are just backups wherever they go.
Carson Wentz should retire. Andy Dalton should retire.
Andy Dalton's going to have a team. Carson Wentz, I absolutely agree with.
Oh, my word.
Someone, as a backup.
I have a feeling because Baker Mayfield.
Of anyone,
was
you're
gonna
telling
make
me
an
you wouldn't want to have him as one of your backups?
Andy Dalton?
No.
I would not.
At least he would have been playable in the
I think
championship.
Andy Dalton. I think Andy
playoffs.
Dalton has been run through the washing machine and dried out a couple times. I think he's just hitting burnout street.
Yep.
Andy Dalton wants to be a starter. Nobody's going to put him as a starter.
Like you said with Aaron Rodgers, riding to the sunset.
Exactly. It's time for him to go. Yep.
All right,
No,
Carson
I
Wentz,
look at
same
all these
thing.
quarterbacks
Yep. Wentz
are
go.
backups. Every single one of them.
I think I don't know. There's a couple of them backups. Yeah.
After Marcus Mariota, what he did with Atlanta. Oh, you're going to start this new kid, see what he can do. Oh, I'm just going to leave the team.
Yeah.
I'm going to go hang out in Thailand with Cliff Kingsbury. You know?
Hey, we got to screw with him when he comes back. I'll start it.
Oh boy.
I mean, Garoppolo, I guess he could go somewhere and start still.
That is the quarterback I think ends up in Las Vegas.
I can see that.
They have no quarterback now.
Yeah. I could definitely.
He's a free agent.
We're talking about Pittsburgh. We're talking about
Jimmy
Jacoby
G.
Brissett starting over Kenny Pickett.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, please.
Oh, there goes Marino.
That's good.
No, I was just talking.
Dolphin Jesus over there.
Jimmy G ended up in Vegas.
I'm not sold on Jimmy G.
As a free agent signing, they just lost Derek Carr. They don't have the draft capital to get a quarterback.
Right.
Yes, they do.
They stall for a year.
No, they're at pick 7. They can draft one of the quarterbacks.
All the quarterbacks will be gone. The top 4 will be gone in the top 7.
If you would have said that to me last year, I would have said you're probably right. But after last year's
I mean,
draft,
going by
I'm starting to think that maybe people are starting to realize maybe we overvalue quarterbacks too much.
okay, sign Garoppolo
So I'm
and
not saying
draft
it's
Lees
not
or
possible,
whatever.
but I'm also saying
The
I'm
only-
a little less.
the
likely to
quarterback
see.
that I can see going that far is Levy.
Yeah.
Or
Leave it, yeah.
yeah. But I'd take Jimmy G over him. And wait until next year.
Well, yeah, but you're drafting. I mean, that's a learned situation.
I like that one.
I mean, personally, I think Jamarcus Russell should go farther than where the Raiders are picking at 7.
So I guess the way to look at it
I mean,
is,
Anthony Richardson.
do you feel like Jimmy G could have a Jared Goff type year where they look at him as the punt, so to speak, and if Jimmy G does actually
Yes.
in my case, overachieve, but in a lot of people's thoughts, achieve, then you're in a great situation. You have a possibility of a quarterback, or you have the possibility of picking something high.
Yes.
That's fair. I can get behind that. That's logical.
Who's going on? Okay. So I just realized you got to leave in half an hour.
I do.
Okay, so for the most part, wrapping up the quarterbacks, all the rest of the guys on here, Tyler Huntley, Brissett, Mariota,
Oh, that's cute.
Darnold, they're all
Yep.
backups where they go. Bridgewater.
Holders.
Backups or sunsetted.
All right,
Man,
so
to make
now,
that much money holding a clipboard,
That'd be awesome. I would love that role.
right?
so
I'm telling you, man.
Best role on the team.
Yeah.
Backup quarterback.
let's go to running back now. So at running back, you start with the guys that were tagged.
Yep.
Tony Pollard was tagged as he should have been, obviously.
Tony Pollard shouldn't have been. They should have just sucked it up. Signed that he's the best running back in the league.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying.
Just sign the man. Sign him up for. I mean, Zeke's not doing it for you. Zeke.
I'm
it's
not
it's
disagreeing.
kind
I'm
of
not
a
disagreeing with what
sunshine.
you're saying.
Zeke has turned into Dallas's goal line back.
Yes. Yep. Zeke needs a sunset. Tony.
But do they?
that's-
I
to
guess
me-
here's my thing: is yeah, Zeke has turned into their goal line back, but does he have to be like? Couldn't Pollard just do it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Pollard. That's an insult to Pollard.
it. Kind
Let's
of
just call it. This is a slap in the face to Pollard. If I'm Pollard, I'm sitting back and I'm like, man, I can't wait to get the heck out of here. I'm the best running back in the league right now, arguably. Just do the right thing and sign me up.
So
Don't tag me.
And he's
Sign
wearing
me up.
and he's wearing 20. And yet Zeke gets all the touchdowns, kind of like Emmitt Smith did.
Oh man.
Here we go.
Oh
Here
man.
we go.
You got both of us to sign on that one.
Are you
So-
sure? There's
Yeah,
no powder
really,
in this
really
thing?
water. That's
I
just
mean,
water.
Really? God. Oh!
Lace with
What do you
some-
got in there?
And it was better.
Oh my word!
All right.
Are we going back to the era
Really?
conversation
All right,
again?
go.
The era
Dude,
conversation.
back to the era conversation. Barry could play in this league still.
So could Emmitt.
100% agree.
Barry
What?
could play in this league still.
Barry can play better than Emmett could.
Barry could play. In
There's,
this
the linebackers in this league are
TJ Watt
way
would
too
be fucking
fast
breakfast.
for Emmett Smith.
Wow. Sorry.
Way too
You
fast.
got
for
me
Emmitt
in a moment of.
Yeah.
You first of all, you brought Emmett into the conversation. Then you said he was better. That deserved that.
Smith. Thank you.
And I'm not even a Lions fan.
Josh Jacobs, they need to just give him a contract.
Yeah.
Yep.
And obviously Barkley needs to just give him. I mean, Barkley, if anything you want to talk about, is the best one on here.
No, Tony Pollard. But listen.
Well, hold on. Which one is better versus which one is more valued by the team?
Saquon's more valuable, he's more valuable
Both to the team. Yes. I think
Tony Pollard is better.
I think there are more weapons in Dallas for Tony Pollard to be hidden a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas Saquon is absolutely the key, the marquee.
But to your point earlier,
Yeah.
I understand why they tagged it. I think you
Oh,
brought
yeah,
something
I-
up really
yeah.
good. It's like, hey,
You're right.
the
You're
commodity
right there.
amount, Daniel Jones versus Saquon. I'm sorry,
That's
I can
so
get your
right.
bucket because
Yeah.
I heard it. I heard it myself. I'm like, oh, just keep talking. Just keep talking.
Hey!
Yeah, but you made a great point. I
Yes,
have to give you
you
credit
did.
for it. You know that move between Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. You pay one, you tag the other. That is a smart
You were
business
correct.
move. That's what they should have done.
And they both wanted to be together. I know that because I remember they both were. I saw.
Ebony and Ivory.
Cute.
Great.
Live together in perfect harmony.
Not when you're sitting
Open the
flat, dude.
Wow.
Not when you're flat.
Come on. Here we go.
But no, all three of them are top tier running backs. Need to get paid.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, and the thing is, think about it. We talk about the era thing. At one time, these guys would have been paid a long time ago.
Oh,
At
yeah.
least
Well,
Pollard
yeah.
not okay. Pollard not as much. Pollard because that's more of
No, I
he's
think
come up. The other two are
no. I
You
think,
go
I think
15
Pollard
years
was
ago,
a-
definitely.
Yeah, I think Pollard
10
was
years
paid
ago,
more.
still, I think they're getting paid by this point.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
But you're right, because of the change of the league and the rules and everything else. Yep.
Yep. Running backs are
so those guys are obviously
More expendable.
they're not going. I don't think they're either. Any of them are even going anywhere. I don't think anyone's going to try to match
No, those guys are staying.
No, yeah.
for what they're going to have to
Yep.
give up. So now let's talk about the ones that aren't. And I want to start with Kareem Hunt.
Oh, man.
I mean, there's someone that he was a stud in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Had some off the field troubles.
Yep.
I think he's redeemed himself. He's kept quiet at least.
Yeah.
There's been no off the field issues.
Right, the off-the-field issues have been stifled, but was Kareem Hunt as good as advertised, or was it because he was on the Chiefs and they had so many weapons?
But that was also. That wasn't like when Patrick Mahomes was even like Patrick Mahomes. This was like the start of Mahomes, right? It was
the start
his
of Mahomes.
end was the start of Patrick Mahomes.
But even with Cleveland, with all the
Yeah,
issues in
Because
Cleveland,
he was
But
more
again-
Alex Smith.
Right,
when-
but Alex Smith still had Travis Kelce. He still had Tyreek Hill.
Mm.
Or no, Tyreek Hill
No, it wasn't
showed
Tyreek
up
Hill, it was
afterwards.
afterwards, yeah.
Who were the wide receivers they had?
they had good, decent rushers.
Yeah.
I can't remember who now.
Like, there was a good roster in Kansas City for
But-
him to be a part of.
With Kareem Hunt, even
Thank you,
in
by the way.
Cleveland, when called upon,
Yeah.
he performed.
Yeah, sort of. That year with Baker Mayfield, he performed. I'll give you that one. But he also had Duke Johnson behind him helping him.
Well, wait a minute.
So
wasn't that the year? And correct me if I'm wrong. When Nick Chubb came in.
Or Nick Chubb. Yeah,
Nick
sorry,
Chubb
Nick
came in.
Chubb.
Okay.
Yep, sorry, my apologies. Not Duke. Nick Chubb.
So let's look at this. I guess
Right.
here-
So with Kareem Hunt, you need another running back with him. No hands. This day and age,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
that's pretty much any team.
With any team now. I mean, honestly, any team.
Yeah, every team is.
Now it is the way the league's set up now. Yeah, you gotta have two running backs.
So, I mean, where's he go?
Miami,
Carolina.
Carolina could be an option.
Does Carolina have the ability to pay for him though? I mean, I guess it would be a possibility. They have cap issues, but again, with them getting rid of DJ Moore, that's going to be money off the books.
Yeah, Carolina.
So now all of a sudden you got money to pay him, and then you have a rookie quarterback if they draft a quarterback, and they have years to kind of put money away. Yeah, it's not a bad choice. That seems like a good home.
New England. He
Shut up.
likes to work with what?
I hate New England.
So do I.
New
That's
England.
what I'm
it's
saying.
Dolphins
Shut
fan.
up.
Belichick is not going to pay a running back.
No, he will not.
He's got Ramondre Stevenson now.
Yeah,
Right, but if
okay,
okay, so to your point, you won't pay a running back, and maybe this is where you were going with this. Maybe Tyreek or maybe Kareem Hunt realizes my time is short.
Yes. Belichick has the ability to attract those aged wonders,
Yeah.
right?
Look what he
Right.
did with Corey Dillon.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. No.
Oh.
No. You are a bad person. Do not put that hex on me.
For all the public out there.
Yeah. You just
Kareem Hunt is now going to the Steelers.
no, he is not.
Breaking news.
No.
Breaking news!
Stop.
The Steelers sign.
This is brought to you by
Kareem
Eric Miller.
Bad touch. Bad touch.
But would it not be a similar 1-2 punch that he's at now? It'd be good for the Steelers.
You know what? It really wouldn't be a bad move though.
It-
But let's put the cards on the table. It really wouldn't be a bad move.
No, but Pittsburgh's kind of got a 1-2 punch right now.
But do they though?
A lot of people thought Najee was the second best back on that team.
The key word in that sentence was thought.
I agree. I agree. But there are a lot of people that believe who's the rookie this year. And I can't even think of his name right now offhand.
He was good.
He was good, and again, I don't see this as, I don't see that as the move the Steelers would make. And I don't see Cleveland allowing that.
He's completely free to go. I mean, they can't. They have
no way of pulling
No,
it out.
he's not tagged or anything. No, these are all unrestricted guys.
They are unrestricted. Okay, so I mean, it's possible. I don't see that as a smart move.
I mean, he's not going to command a high dollar.
No,
None of these running backs at this point, other than, well, I can't say that because, and we'll get to him. But
who was the guy?
I mean, I'm not saying he comes dirt cheap, but he's not league minimum or anything like that.
No.
But he's not going to be top 15.
No, he's not top tier right now. I think he's maybe tier 2.5, maybe 3 in running backs, right?
Yeah.
So,
Jalen Warren.
Yep.
He had a 4.9 rushing average, 28 receptions out of the backfield. I don't know.
Another interesting is going to be Rashad Penny, if he can ever stay healthy.
No, I
I
think that's
I think
Devin Singletary is more interesting than Rashard Penny.
so do I.
I actually think Myles Gaskin and Raheem Mostert are both more interesting than Rashad Penny.
oh boy.
Don't you do it?
Breaking news.
So here's one that I think
I
is
want this to
interesting.
happen.
Oh boy.
Miles Sanders to Miami. Ooh.
So the one on this list,
I think a lot of Dallas fans would like Miles Sanders to go to
a lot of
Miami.
Dallas fans.
I think a lot of New York fans would like Miles Sanders.
I don't think he's staying in Philly. I think he's
I
actually
think
going
he's
to be
gonna.
gone.
I think you might be right.
Mhm.
I think he's going to want more money than Philly wants to give him.
Oh, absolutely. And then they can afford to give him.
Right.
I mean, you got, because A.J. Brown is going to have a contract that's going to be coming up probably next year, and you're going to have to pay him. I mean, Devonta Smith, you still have, I think, 2 more years.
Yep.
But they have, I know they want, I mean, you have all that defense that they're going to, I mean, they have like a lot. You're going to go through this. They have a lot of defense. That starting defense is up here.
So Bradbury's free agent. They've given Slay permission to seek a trade.
Secret trade.
Chauncey Gardner, the safety.
Yeah,
He's,
they're having a fire sale.
Yeah.
Hargrave. Graham is the one they kept. I feel like there's another one. Another.
So
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, out of the running backs, Alexander Madison interests me for some team. Because look what he did when Dalvin Cook was hurt.
Yeah.
He in fantasy, if you own Dalvin Cook, you had to have Alexander Madison because he was a stud running back when played.
So let's name. I want to name off because I think this is a really good list of running backs that could all go to places and be effective wherever they go. So obviously we got Barkley, Jess Jacobs, and Tony Pollard are tagged. They could still go somewhere else because they were all non-exclusive,
Yep.
but it would come at a very steep price for a team to do that. Kareem Hunt.
Hold on. Could you see any of these guys going to KC?
No,
No.
not with Pacheco.
No.
Pacheco took over.
He did take
that
over
backfield.
finally.
Mhm.
That
And he-
backfield was a mess for a good
It was.
8 weeks.
And Pacheco took it over.
He did.
and-
No, I'm not saying any of these going anywhere
So-
being the starter.
So, going back to
I
Miles
was-
Sanders, I want to touch on Miles Sanders. So, you said you want him in Miami.
I would love him in Miami.
I don't think he's as good. If he was as good as what everybody says he is, why didn't he play in the Super Bowl? Why was it Kenny Gainwell?
Good coaching. Could be a
Kenny
matchup.
Gainwell, I looked up the snaps, not the carries, the snaps. Kenny Gainwell played 23 more snaps than
During
Miles
the Super Bowl?
Sanders and had, I think, 6 more carries.
during the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Could it?
I don't know. Timmy Smith that won for about 30 years held the single game rushing record in the Super Bowl. He
But
didn't light your
still,
Chargers up
if-
when you went to him.
If Philly had any faith in Miles Sanders, why didn't he play?
Maybe.
Why,
but
why,
again,
why,
hold
why
on,
are they
hold on.
playing a 5'11", 180-pound running back over Miles Sanders?
So
That's a good
it could
I'm a
have.
huge Kenny Gainwell fan.
Again, from my perspective, it could have been a lot of things. Like, again, we don't know the injury side of things that could have been going on with Miles Sanders. Like, there may have been something there that we weren't privy to know because they didn't release that information to the public, and maybe they thought that was the better option. It is I mean, look, it's a question to be asked, but I don't know. Like, there's a lot of upside with Miles Sanders. I do agree with that.
I'm not saying Miles Sanders is a bad back, but that gave me
Yeah,
I think
it's,
for
it's,
an
reason,
NFL
it's reason to
team,
question, right?
for an NFL team that is looking to sign Miles Sanders. They're asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm thinking of
Yep,
it,
that's
you
fair.
know they're thinking of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a coaching decision in the moment where they were looking at the situational. I remember the very start of the game, and they gave it to him right away, and he got stuffed. I may think that defense may have been geared to almost force Jalen Hurts to run or to throw.
Yep.
And we're going to shut down Sanders, and they're not going to be able to run the ball.
Well, and maybe that was the case, is maybe they don't value Sanders out of the backfield on the pass routes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be a reason why.
Yeah.
David Montgomery. I think David Montgomery is a good running back that has value somewhere.
Maybe.
I think he's a starting running back somewhere.
Maybe.
But what?
Maybe.
David Montgomery seems like the guy that you always wanted to do well, but just
Just
never
never
could
quite
do
got
well.
there. Yep.
The only team
He was
that,
the first overall
So
pick on
Jimmy
fantasy
G.
year one year.
So Jimmy G.
the only team that I can
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
right now
Yeah, I can give you that.
that
Yep.
is in dire need of running back because of the system, the way the NFL is, with that every team has two running backs, is Miami. Miami has no running backs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at
Yeah,
this list.
the list.
Mosert's gone.
Yep. Gaskin.
Gaskin's gone. Jeff Wilson is gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a free agent. They have zero running backs on the roster right now.
Miami's just a mess right now. I mean, I think Miami's they're in some
The
trouble.
running game.
I think even the
I think-
quarterback play. I think
yeah.
the team's in trouble,
I think
man.
teams in trouble, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I think they had their chance and they missed it.
Yep. Yeah, I think.
Sorry,
Miami's-
Miami will be there.
Sure they will,
Yeah.
with Buffalo in the division in New
Yeah.
England.
Good luck.
It could have been.
And the Jets.
And good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck.
the Jets that have the defensive rookie of the year
Yeah.
and the offensive
Oh, man.
rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just need a quarterback that's not named Aaron Rodgers.
Or a quarterback named Zach Wilson.
Yes. Yeah.
Mike White.
There you go.
What happens with Jamal Williams?
I think he resigns.
Detroit re-signs him.
I think
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think they'd be stupid not
They
to.
would be well. Okay. So
Just from a morale standpoint.
It is the
man, he
Lions
is-
we're talking about. The
It is,
Lions
it
have
is.
been known to make stupid
It is.
moves over the course of their history. Let's just be honest.
I honestly hope they end up as the team again for Hard Knocks. It would be awesome for that was a
Oh,
great
yeah,
Hard
it was
Knocks.
Listen, I told some friends of mine when Dan Campbell first came in, his first year as a head coach there, I said, watch out for the Lions. And they looked at me like I had three heads. And I'm telling you right now, the Lions are going to scare a lot of people. They're going to shock a lot of people. Maybe not the first year, but this second year. And they came close.
They did.
I think this next year, right, they're not going to be asleep. They won't sleep on the Lions now. The Lions have woken up and people have seen, okay.
And they
the
still
Lions-
have draft
and they
capital.
still have draft capital.
But think
and
about
that's
this,
a
too.
young team with a coach that fires them up. When
Think
they're
about
down, they come out firing.
If they would have won all those close games that were within a touchdown.
They're in the playoffs.
They're in the
Easy.
playoffs.
Oh,
They just need to
they're
win.
at least the number
They just
two
need to win.
seed.
Yeah,
They're
they
at least
need
the
to
number
win.
2 seed.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're the Minnesota play.
So I'm telling you,
And Jamal Williams was legitimately their heart and soul.
yes,
You take him out,
Yeah.
I think that team falls a bit.
yes, that everything that Dan Campbell has built with that team from
Needs
a morale standpoint, from just a rah
Yeah.
standpoint, they need that guy.
agree.
Jamal Williams is the coach on the field.
Yeah.
Yes,
He is
Yep.
the Dan Campbell in
Yes.
that huddle.
Yes.
Well, and in the locker room, like
Right.
I think from
He's-
a perspective, he just has a good
Like,
understanding of the
All
team.
this hype around Swift.
Yeah.
Swift hasn't proved it.
Hasn't proven it at all.
Jamal
Yeah.
can play the running back position.
Yeah.
So what do you think Singletary? You brought up Singletary earlier. I was just looking at that name.
I don't know. You want to talk about a guy that I feel like got a raw deal at him. I think he's.
I agree.
I feel like he was the stepchild of Buffalo,
If they brought in all these other running backs to
Yeah.
replace him,
and they never could.
Cook's there. I think Cook will be there.
I'm not saying Cook isn't good. He's good, but again, you literally had to bring in like running back after running back after running back to try and replace this guy instead of just realizing you had a good running back. Like he's gonna be the girlfriend that when he leaves looks hotter because they're gonna look at him and be like, "Damn, I used to date that."
They drafted Singletary was a third-round pick.
Yeah,
Zach Moss the following year,
third round
pick.
pick.
Then they go with James Cook, second-round pick. So they've tried to replace this guy, like Mark was saying, over and over and over again.
They traded for Naheem Hines.
Yep.
How'd that work out?
He's a kick returner.
So again,
Scored 2 touchdowns.
I look at I will say this: whoever gets Devin Singletary, they won out.
Got DeMar Hamlin to do this
That's
in the
enough
end
to-
zone.
They're gonna have a guy who's got a massive chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Who's gonna say, "I'm gonna show you guys just like you said."
Yeah.
A ex-girlfriend walking out the door.
Yeah.
And
Goes back to her
Why did I
5-year
do
high
that?
school reunion.
to,
It's just like
to
smoking.
my point
Yeah.
Dang.
of
Yeah.
rushing quarterbacks hurting their skill positions.
Yep.
Josh Allen runs the ball. He's effective running the ball.
He is.
Continue to run the ball.
Until he's not.
But Singletary was hurt because of that.
Yeah.
He wasn't looked at as a premier running back. It's Josh Allen's show.
Right.
That's my problem with Lamar. That's what problem I had with Jalen Hurts until he proved me wrong. You know?
Yeah.
Until these quarterbacks prove me wrong and say they can scramble around, but can they throw the ball down the field?
And to
Are
your
they
point
looking
that-
to pass before run?
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts, I think he didn't look to run first. Whereas Lamar Jackson, and to everyone's point earlier, looked to run the ball first before he passed, even though it was a pass play.
Well,
Josh Allen,
Yeah.
he got happy feet
Yeah.
way too early. Right, he wanted to be the guy, and he's throwing himself head first into these defenders. Look, man, yeah, you're a big tough guy. I
There's
get
only
it.
so long you're going to do
There's
that.
only so long you're going to be able to do that. I mean, the running backs, man, they've been doing that since Pee Wee League football. Their bodies are conditioned to take those poundings. All right, so give it to the guys who are the skilled players in that setup and let them do their thing.
So by that logic, Devin Singletary, who lost out on a lot of goal line carries because of Josh Allen. Again, not only is he coming off into a situation where he was never wanted, so he's got a big chip on his shoulder.
Yep.
He hasn't taken the durability hits in the goal line area. Dude, this guy's going to do fantastic wherever he goes.
Exactly, I agree.
I think he is gold for a team.
I agree.
And
I mean, he
next
could
year
end
I
up-
could be totally wrong.
He could end up in Carolina.
Ooh, he could.
Possibly.
He could.
Because remember,
Or
this
again,
printout
Miami.
doesn't have
If Miami,
taking
if
out.
Miami doesn't want
Think
to
about
pay,
that though.
Man.
You had Christian McCaffrey. You traded
You
him
traded
off.
him off, yep.
You got good value still out of the McCaffrey trade,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you bring Devin Singletary in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a drop off still, but it's not much of a drop off. That's a
Not much.
solid play, and then you got a brand new rookie quarterback that's probably going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an
Yeah.
interesting name because he actually did pretty decent last year. Was that Samaje Perine from
Yeah.
Cincinnati?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Still not convinced in that cat.
Nope.
No.
To be honest, I'm not.
Someone's gonna get Fournette something, right?
For what?
He'll probably get
That would be a good one.
signed. He'll probably get signed, and
Just-
then he'll probably get released in
just-
like 6 weeks.
yeah.
just
I
like
think-
Damian Harris, same thing.
Yep.
Damian Harris is good, but he just doesn't have.
Yeah.
Yep, it's time.
Yeah. It's time for him to go. Sunset. I call sunset.
Yep.
Change approved.
Any other final thoughts on running backs?
No.
I know you gotta go soon, so I'll let you pick. You want to go to a different position?
I'll go with tight ends. Tight ends are
Okay.
fun. Yeah.
I mean, it's
This
not
one will
very
be. I was
big
gonna say it's not too.
Yeah, I may have to follow him out.
I mean, I look at the tight ends list, and honestly, Hayden Hurst is solid.
I like that they tagged Ingram. I think he's.
I think him and Lawrence have something.
I think so
I
too.
mean, you mix it with once Ridley gets going there, and
Well, and he's like a safety blanket, right? You don't take away a young quarterback safety blanket.
Gesicki is going to go somewhere.
So I think Gesicki's going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
He's a good tight end. This year he got pushed off to the side because of Waddle and
Yep.
Tyreek, which is
Yep.
fair
Tyreek,
enough.
yep.
Yeah.
Well, why would you throw the ball to Gesicki when
Yeah.
you got Waddle and Tyreek open running down the
streaking
field?
down the field. Yeah, yeah.
You know, so he's a good tight end. I view him same. I mean, Goddard, Gesicki,
Yeah.
same tight end.
Yeah.
Good tight end.
I think Dallas needs to try to re-sign Schultz if they can. I honestly think if they didn't have to tag Pollard, they might have tagged Schultz.
I don't
Do you think
know.
so? I don't know about that one.
I don't know if they use the tag. On
Yeah,
it.
not,
Not only that, I just never can understand Dallas. Like, you just
I don't think Dallas understands.
no. It's a circus. It's a circus every year down there. I mean, shoot, I'm sure Dallas has picked to win the Super Bowl again because it's Dallas. And
Here's a name that anyone doesn't get.
Finished fourth in the
Austin
division.
Hooper. He actually does pretty solid wherever he goes.
Yeah, Austin Hooper is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not going to break the bank or anything, but
No, but
He's another Alex Smith, Jimmy Garoppolo style player. He's a solid player for his position. He's not going to lose you some games. He's going to keep you in the games.
You're going to throw it to him. He's going to catch
He's
it.
going to catch it, but he's not going to light the world on fire.
so given the time, honestly, we went a lot longer in the trade talks to start than we probably should have.
still, the 10 minutes. Let's kind of roll through some of these wide receivers.
Yeah.
We think probably
Cobb,
Juju
sunset.
gets re-signed.
Julio Jones, sunset.
KC,
Lazard,
right?
sunset.
I think so. I think if KC wants to keep him, Juju would be. I've noticed that Juju makes very smart business decisions.
Yes. Yep.
So as long as KC wants to keep him, he signs.
Jacoby Myers might be the biggest winner
I
of the group.
think Jacoby Myers is going to be the. I view him as Keenan Allen type receiver, not as good as Keenan,
Correct.
but that possession receiver where he's going to get 12 targets and 10 catches a game if the ball is catchable.
Lazard might get overpaid.
Lazard will get overpaid.
Unfortunately.
The other person on the list that I think is going that is someone to consider from a team perspective is DJ Chark. I liked him when he was in Jacksonville, and when he went to Detroit, he proved that he could do it there too.
Yes.
I think, believe it or not, this guy right here is part of the reason why Goff had such a good season.
Okay.
He's
I
a
can see
gamer,
that.
man.
He is good.
So that's my pick out of that group.
And another
Not to throw any shade on Jacoby. He's
for a
fantastic.
team that needs a veteran receiver to teach the young
Yeah.
guys, what do you think about Thielen ending up in Detroit to mentor Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams?
But does Amon-Ra need mentoring? I mean, look at the season he had
Yeah.
last year. I mean, does that kid really need someone to show him what to do? You know? I mean,
I don't know.
No, but what
He was making some-
what Thielen gives you is a reliable receiver that you could put when you start spreading them out.
Yeah.
He's not going to drop a lot of balls.
No, he's always had sure hands.
Or in any team that needs that veteran receiver that has a bunch of young guys that they need that locker room presence. I've been there. I've done this.
I get that.
So I look at that group, and like the name that sticks out, obviously from a star potential, is Julio Jones, but compared, and that's the thing. Like,
Some of them,
compared-
he'll be somewhere.
He'll somewhere, but
compared to the two, like you talked about Thielen coming into doing this, and a lot of people would be like, well, Julio Jones is a better wide receiver than Thielen. In their prime, yes, but Thielen still, I think, has a little tread on the tires, whereas Julio is more like the sports car, and he's burnt his tires out.
Thielen still proved, even though Jefferson took the primary
The engine
role,
might need an overhaul too.
he's still a red zone threat.
Right.
10
And I like
touchdowns
Julio.
a year for the
Right.
last.
He's got sure hands.
Yes.
And again, I look at Julio. A lot of Julio's flash was his speed and his ability to cut and that may be lost.
McCole Hardman could surprise you where he goes too.
Yeah.
I see Hardman being like MVS in Kansas City. Just speed.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's good, but he drops a lot of balls.
So moving on to the tackles. I know a lot of people thought Orlando Brown Jr. was going to get the tag from KC.
I was kind of surprised
If they lose him, that's not
huge.
good.
That's huge. Yeah,
It's huge.
it's huge. I think they'll find the way.
They'll
to
figure
get
it
him
out.
signed.
Yeah.
If I'm a team also, because he got released from Tennessee, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not a Michigan guy, but my God, I'm not a Michigan guy. But Tyler Lewin is someone I would consider. going
Taylor
after.
Lewan? No.
No?
No.
Yes, he is, but no. Hate that guy.
Oh, so you want him in Pittsburgh?
I still hate him. No. Yes, but no.
Why? Because he blocked for Derrick Henry?
No, because when he was at Michigan, he was a douche canoe. And he still is a douche canoe, but granted, if he was my douche canoe, it would be a different story.
So out of the offensive linemen,
he can go
the
to
big
like,
offensive lineman that I see on this list is Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Yep.
He
Absolutely.
is the glue for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They got to figure it out.
They'll figure it out. They won't.
But again, going back to Orlando Brown too, you look at KC and having to figure that out. If that doesn't you look at like a quarterback's.
Remember, they got him in a trade, if I remember.
Right, but we talked about contract negotiations and stuff like that, right? And like tackles, guards, and centers, this is where they make their money.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't get the Frito-Lay or the Doritos commercial sponsorships. They make their money here.
Right.
So
Why do they have to get the fatty foods?
well, sorry, I don't know. Fine,
Wow.
Nutrisystem. Where do you want me to go with this?
Wow.
So I go back to this though.
I have recently lost 16 pounds, by the way.
Congratulations. I go back to this here. This may be tougher than you think to sign because while you may be able to talk a quarterback into taking less money to try and pay his things because he can also get a deal with X, Y, or Z, Nike, Under Armour, wherever.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen with a tackle.
If I'm Chicago, I'm absolutely signing Orlando Brown Jr.
Oh yeah,
If you could, yeah.
Of all the players,
Sign
this
him
entire
and then
thing,
take
that's the
ninth
guy
pick and take
that
another
you're going
tackle.
after.
Jason Kelsey and Orlando Brown Jr. are both two players that people would pay heavy money to take in.
Pretty much pick 5 guys off here, and there's your Chicago Bear offensive line.
Pretty much, yeah. 'Cause they have nothing right now. It's true.
Defensive tackle, Hargrave might get overpaid.
Yeah, he is going to get
Yep.
Fletcher Cox probably stays in Philly, but at a reduced cost.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously aging.
Yep.
I think it was smart for them to tag Payne in Washington.
Yep.
Going on to the defensive ends, Brandon Graham resigned. That one did surprise me a little just because of the age factor.
Well, speaking of age factor, do you think Davian Clowney finally ties it or hangs it out?
He should. He has been. I think if you want to call a player a bust, from based on what he was projected to do, he's a bust.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think it's time for him to just hang his cleats up.
I think it
I don't know. I think he's got one more hit against Michigan left in him.
Wow.
Ooh, you went there. I love
Wow.
it. I love it. It's,
Wow.
Mike Hart would agree with you, by the way.
Wow.
Hey, after that, look, that was a ball don't lie moment right
Yes, it
there.
was. I can't argue with it. I guess it was.
Frank Clark is an interesting one because he'll go somewhere and I think still be effective.
Oh yeah,
That obviously just they can't pay everyone.
That's also the most hard nosed defensive end type name on the list. Like if I think of a person named defensive end, it's going to be a guy named Frank Clark. He's going to break you.
I think Cleveland
And he
Terrell
breaks people.
could have a play. I think he's into the right situation. I think he could still be a good player.
Yeah.
I don't think he really ever got a fair shake in. I think he was drafted too high, and he didn't really overcome that. Also, you're coming in, you're the top overall, or he wasn't the top. He was top 5, if I remember. And even then, they were questioning that pick. But he was a stud in college.
Yeah.
Linebackers, Levante David should probably make the biggest amount of money off this list. I mean, he's just a tackling machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Devin Bush could still get a good contract.
Maybe.
I don't see him in Pittsburgh anymore.
Really?
No,
He's gone.
that comes to a money pie situation.
Well, not even just money. Like he got lost. Like after that injury, that took a little bit out of him. But then mentally, he wasn't able to do what he was doing before, and he looked lost on the field.
Just shut himself down.
If I'm
little
Buffalo, I'm trying to see if we can't re-sign Tremaine Edwards.
I agree.
I agree with
I mean, if you're another team that's a linebacker you want to go after as well.
And so there's another linebacker on this list that you missed, and that's Drew Tranquil for the Chargers. He took over that linebacker position for the Chargers and was one of the best in the league.
What year is he?
I don't know. Third, fourth.
Third. He's young.
Yeah.
So I could see him.
I heard Wagner going back to Seattle.
I think Wagner.
I heard about that. I heard the same thing.
He still has. I mean, he's not getting top tier money,
No.
but he still is a starting linebacker. In the
But
league.
does that even make sense for him to go back? Does it make sense for Seattle to even do that? I mean, I don't know if that makes sense to do that.
Yeah.
Other than
Why
maybe from
older-
fan
They got
service.
Jordan Brooks.
Yeah, why even do that? What does it say to Brooks then? Bring that guy back in there.
Yeah.
Come on.
But he's also good for the locker room.
He is.
Yeah. But is he really?
T.J. Edwards, he could be getting some money out there. He did pretty well this last year.
Yeah.
Morrow from Chicago is actually one of the few bright spots. It's pretty bad when you're talking. A few bright spots for.
Oh my word. Stafford.
They earned that number 1 pick and then traded it away.
Well, if you think about it, Morrow will probably go because they won't want to pay him
Yeah.
what
tier.
he's going to want.
Yeah.
So let's go. So we just got done talking about Orlando Brown. Here's another player I think might be the second best overall player on this entire thing, and that's Jordan Poyer.
Yeah.
And I've heard him linked to either Miami or the Jets. I don't know if that's supposed to be some kind of...
I don't see him going to the
I
Jets.
don't see it either.
Well, no, not now because they just traded for Chuck Cecil, which I'm sure as a Steeler fan you're not happy about. Or you're happy about
I'm happy
that.
about. Yeah.
I'd put it this way. I'd love to see him in a Dolphin uniform.
I would too if I were you.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, that's another big name that might get... he might be one that gets overpaid.
I think he gets overpaid and never quite pans out.
Panned out, yep.
Jesse Bates, someone needs to sign him and give him a good contract because he is a really, really good safety.
Yes.
What else we got here? Terrell Edmonds. I mean, he's obviously Tremaine's.
Yes, please.
You know what? Edmonds and...
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Oh my gosh.
No! Miami let Minka Fitzpatrick go.
I was not happy about that.
No, it was great. We stole him. I had written on my paper Jordan plus Minka forever because I would love to see that happen, but it's not going to. But
Terrell Edmonds is a good safety.
I'm not saying he's not, but is he Jordan? Is he Jordan Porter?
He's not Jordan Porter. No.
So
he's
again, Edmonds will find a good home. We'll make sure he gets a good home.
But you get Edmonds, who's a little bit cheaper, to keep him there.
Sure.
And then you can put the money somewhere else. You could put the money, maybe get Orlando Brown. You could use an upgrade at your...
Don't tease me like that. Don't go there. Oh, that would be amazing.
Corner, obviously Bradbury is
I
considered...
don't think Bradbury's as good as what I think he's a product of that pass rush.
Well, any
fair.
corner is really that.
That's
I mean,
fair, yep.
You could say that about almost any corner with the exception of
Eli.
a handful.
I was going to say Eli.
Toast.
I think Jamal Dean is someone that
Jeff
could end up
Okuda?
in Cincinnati. Jamal Dean's a good corner.
Yeah. What's Cincy's cap space looking at like right now?
They got enough.
I was gonna say I thought they were.
They got over 35 million.
Well, maybe. Cincinnati has notoriously not spent money too, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Or is
gonna
there
have to
someplace
soon.
else that could go?
Well, they didn't have an outdoor facility, they're an outdoor facility team.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that.
Marcus Peters and Patrick Peterson actually still offer value. Peterson actually could probably go to safety, free safety.
Marcus Peters is really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good.
Solid hitter.
Yeah.
And I know Tony had asked to specifically talk about the kickers.
Hate kickers.
I mean, Matt Gay. I heard Matt Gay at one point getting tagged.
That's not happening.
No.
I mean, granted, that'd probably be the cheapest.
The
tag.
only kicker in the league that deserves to be kicked or tagged is the Baltimore Ravens kicker.
And that's the property of Nick Ergain.
I hate that kicker.
Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker.
Tucker, yeah.
In fantasy, Ergain's had him. He's in my
Oh,
division.
He's amazing.
I have lost to Tucker for 2 years now.
So, quick final thoughts before these guys got to go. Final thoughts on free agency?
It's gonna be a wild ride.
I don't, honestly, unless there's some big trades.
If you're
I don't
Chicago,
see
you
some
can
of
spend a
these-
lot of money and really upgrade your team.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you look at free agency's tough, right? You don't want to overpay for some of these guys, and that's what you get nervous about. And Chicago could overpay. Like that's been notoriously a team that has overpaid and underdelivered. So, again, the teams I look at that have a lot of cap space that I think have the acumen to be able to pull it off, New England. New England has money to spend.
As usual. Yeah.
Not as usual. They actually have a good amount of money to spend that they haven't had in a few years. So, again, when they had Gronk and they had like that group,
Yeah.
they were tight. They were doing some gymnastics to be able to make it work. Right now, they have a lot of... He gets to go shopping. That's
will
a
he
s-
though? Because Belichick's not. He hasn't.
He went shopping with.
Hold on.
shopping
If-
with Mac Jones.
If
yeah.
he goes shopping, like again, if he sees the talent there,
Right.
he's gonna go shopping.
Look at when he went
Well, how much
shopping
longer is he
and
gonna
brought
be
in
coach,
2
too?
tight
You gotta
ends
think
in the
about
same
that.
year.
At least a
He
couple
brought in
years.
Hunter
I mean, he's got Mac
Henry and,
Jones. I gotta think
the
he's
dude
gonna
from
stick around.
Tennessee.
He's 70-some years old now, too.
that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
70.
can't think of his name.
I mean, age
But he
becomes a
brought
thing
in
at
both
some
of them
point.
for
You
high
wanna-
contracts, and Hunter Henry ended up being the guy.
I don't know,
The
man.
team's got to start saying, all right,
I was
you know,
sad about
how,
that
what is the
because I'm
plan for
charged
you?
for
How much
it.
longer do you really want to do this? And then we'll start kind of taking a little bit over it too, or help set
Imagine
us up
Justin
for
Herbert with
your
Chuck-
leaving.
That
with
would've been amazing.
Hunter Henry,
Have you
Keenan
seen his
Allen.
coaching tree?
Bye bye
outside
Mike
of
Williams.
him?
I'm not a fan of Mike
Yeah,
Williams.
would have been amazing.
Yeah,
It's not all that great.
Vrabel's doing pretty solid there. In Tennessee.
Other than Vrabel, but Vrabel didn't really. Well, he did coach a little bit underneath him, but honestly, I think Vrabel was destined to.
and like a lot of people have said, Vrabel's success goes back to his college
Yeah.
days under John Cooper.
Right,
Mm.
right. We'll go with that. No. So dumb. So dumb.
So I want to thank everyone for being a part of
Wait,
this.
did he just? By the way, did he just try and compliment John Cooper?
He did.
What was his record against Michigan?
Very bad.
Very bad.
Very bad.
Very bad.
Very
But as an actual,
Horrendous.
but his actual coaching record was very, very good.
Oh, sure,
yeah.
sure. Does that matter?
No, not at all. I'm sorry.
Didn't think so.
Anyways,
What's more juju juice?
so the next time we'll be joining you guys will be at our meeting on April 1st.
Woohoo!
And we'll have the red carpet stream. That'll probably start at 3:34, and then at 6 o'clock we'll have the. I don't know when everyone's to do the red carpet, and then at 6 o'clock will be the actual meeting itself, which is going to be our start of our 10th season in the league. Kind of can't believe it's going to 10 years, but also we're gonna have. We didn't do it today, but this was our first real stream without Guy. And I didn't want to bring him up too much in this because I want to save that for we have something special planned for the meeting in his honor. But a future stream, I want to bring up an idea that I'm looking at doing in May. I want to start doing these once a month. April's completely taken up by draft stuff, but May I was looking at doing a future Hall of Fame class. So look at top 10 by position, who's not in the Hall of Fame, who needs to be in there. And they have to be guys not, for example, like someone saw it like, oh, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. No, because they're not eligible yet. They have to be eligible to be in theAll of Fame to have a discussion. So Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are not in the discussion. Kenny Pickett is not in the discussion.
Nor should he be.
Nor should he be, yeah.
Nor should he be.
What other Steeler? Tommy Maddox actually could be, I guess, part of the discussion, but won't be.
Probably
Right.
will not be.
No.
Although he was an XFL legend.
Sure.
Okay. we'll go.
Sure.
I'm picking on.
Have you seen the Pittsburgh Dive where they talk about how Tommy Maddox works at a grocery store, like cutting meat, deli meat?
Wow.
No. Oh man. So
So Kurt Warner.
yes.
Um,
No.
Without the talent.
Come on. Kurt Warner's got a Super Bowl ring. still.
Because without the talent.
So, in closing, I want to say thank you again, and it's been nice to have you.
Yeah.
You haven't been on one of these in a while. This is your first one.
First one, had a
I
great
think
time.
I think there's good chemistry
Your own,
here.
too.
I really think there's a good chemistry here, and you know I've invited Jimmy. You know,
He needs
to come.
He would be a blast here.
We would have to set a 4-hour stuff aside. We had all 5 of us sitting
The
at the
comedy would be
table.
out of control if Jim was here.
And that's literally just me and Jimmy alone.
Yeah.
So with that being said, again, thank you. Any final words, thoughts,
No.
concerns?
No concerns.
No
Good
concerns
year.
at all. It's gonna be a great
Good
year.
All right. We'll see you April 1st.
See ya.
Steelers suck.
Shut it.
So does Miami.
OSU.
How would you like to have a porpoise for your mascot?
True story. He's not wrong.